As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to the Crunch Time Sports Show with Jeff and Booner. Lucas will be joining in a little bit, but we got a packed show today, Boone. It's Thursday. It's May 8th. Tigers are whooping on the Colorado Rockies.
All day long.
The Rockies are. It's the Rockies, but still, they're whooping the Rockies. We'll have Raj on to talk Tigers. We got, rookie mini camp. That's big for the Lions. We'll get into all that.
Huge.
There was a player release that maybe, could be a decent fit with the Lions. We'll get into that too, Boone. I can't wait.
Yeah, a big day. The Tigers. I don't know if you watched the doubleheader. First game just dominated the Colorado Rockies. I don't even know how many hits there were. I think everyone got a hit in the game one, and then game two. It feels like everyone got a hit. I put a little
Keith too. Colt Keith, not too long ago.
He just got one.
No, he just got a home run.
Oh, he was like one of the only ones that. So the only person today in today's or second game that doesn't have a hit is Riley Green. He's 0 for 3. Yeah. And he has a walk. So, they are down. They're up 8-1, man. And I think they won earlier 11-1, 12 or 13 or something to 1. They are one of the best teams in baseball. It's actually crazy. Yeah. It's insane to think the turnaround that franchise has had. And these young guys, what they're doing. It's actually incredible, to be honest.
I know.
It's nothing short of incredible.
It's crazy to think the Wings are the in last place. Like it doesn't sound right when you say it out loud.
No, they were supposed to be the team. They were supposed to be the one before. What's crazy is before the Pistons and before the Tigers, they were supposed to be the number 2, that second team up after the Lions, and they end up. I don't know.
We'll have Mike on tomorrow. Mike's on the stand tomorrow, so.
I am out tomorrow for the people, but hey, my replacement, Michael Gentry.
Yeah.
I texted him. I said, hey, I need someone to fill in for Friday. And I said, there's one requirement. And he said, what is it? I said, you have to at least talk 15 minutes of Red Wings and Steve Yzerman.
I can't wait. Tomorrow's going to be a great show, man. Doc's joining tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a big show tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have the Doc and we'll talk some Wings with Gentry. So it'll be a good one, man. We'll definitely mess with Gentry.
We don't have a call in, do we? I was gonna say I'll call in because
I can set it up that I could only speak to you. But
okay, yeah, we should when you guys talk some Yzerman, or maybe I'll call in for the Doc, or I don't know. We'll figure, because I'm driving to a graduation. It's about a 2-hour drive. I leave at 6.
Oh, call in. Yeah, for sure. Call in.
Yeah, maybe I'll call in at some point. I'll just be at a hotel, so I could shoot a call over.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're gonna.
Maybe I could just join from my phone actually at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna mess with Gentry. So, it is what it is. Coach, you said why isn't Gentry on the show all the time anymore? Well, Gentry, Gentry's a busy man. He works in the background for Crunch Time Sports. He's got a full-time job. He's got some things in his life that are worth prioritizing. So. He's a busy man. Yeah. When he helps out, he definitely can. But that's why he's not on a full-time live show. But he's on Saturdays with Caleb. So
yes. To be fair, too, he does have a human to take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the kid. I don't know why I said human like that.
He's got another human.
He's a human that he takes care of. No, but he has a legit family. He has a son. So,
yeah. It's all love for him, man. He's still hanging around. We'll have him tomorrow. We'll talk to him tomorrow. We'll get to
my favorite is just out of nowhere in our group chat. Just throws some.
Yeah. No, it's a good time with him, man. All right. Well, like I said, when I teased the show at the beginning, we're gonna get into first. I want to mention the player that got released, give our thoughts on it, and then we'll get to, of course, rookie minicamp, kind of what we expect, things that we want to see coming out of rookie minicamp, because there's always storylines every year that happen in rookie minicamp, especially for the Lions, man. You got another draft class, so there's stuff to look forward to. But the big news that happened today, Boone, was a player that Lions fans have talked about before has been officially released, and that is Jadeveon Clowney. Yes.
There we go.
Jadeveon Clowney. He was with the team last year, 5.5 sacks. The year prior to that, he was with the Ravens, had 9.5 sacks. So this is someone that still has a lot of football left in him.
I put, by the way, in the tweet, I put in 2025. It was supposed to say 2023.
Yeah, but you get the point. He had 9.5. He had 9.5 the year prior. So, he's pretty productive. He's 32 years old. He's a true 4-3 D end. He's still a capable pass rusher. But you want my honest thoughts on it, dude? Like,
I know. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
I think this to me is just a pipe dream. It's not like I'm not saying pipe dream like Myles Garrett or Trey Henderson, but it's like I think the Lions have had opportunities, and Lucas brought this up today when I asked him about it. He told me this, and it was very true. He's like, man, the Lions have had opportunities to sign Jadeveon and Clowney, and they just passed. And the thing that is a red flag to me about Jadeveon and Clowney, Boone, is the last 5 years, he's been on 5 teams.
Yeah.
If you're that level of player, and he's not a high level player, but he's a capable starter, and he can't find a long-term home. Isn't that not a little concerning? Is that just me, or is that
no?
Red flag?
I don't know if it's a red flag. I think it was just at the point of I think everyone goes through it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like guys like that, that were very, very high end guys, unless they turn into all pros consistently, they typically go through a stage in their career to where they move around a lot. I think towards the end of their career. I am with you guys though. Like that's a good point, that the fact that they have had opportunities after the Ravens year, he was a free agent and then signs with the Panthers. I don't know. It is weird because all offseason long, there have been edge rushers out there that have been available, right? There have been guys that we have talked about for the last 2 months, and they signed with the Cowboys, with the Eagles, with the Commanders, and you're sitting there going what is going on? So it is something to where it's all right, why are we constantly just being this edge rusher, Lions, this one, the Lions? I do still think, though, there is a world, and Jeff, maybe this is me just holding on to a sweet dream. I think there's a world where still Brad, I'm convincing myself there's a chance this man. I don't think it's just Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know why I couldn't say his name for a second, but I put a tweet out today. You have 3 options. You have Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, and Matthew Judon. If one of those players is not wearing the Honolulu blue by the time training camp comes around, and they're signed with contenders or they're signed with teams that you're going to be competing against, that's going to be a problem. It's going to end up being a problem. And you're not going to sit back and just be like, yep, hey, we got Marcus Davenport, boys. We got Marcus Davenport. Because you know the problem that happened 2 years ago? We had Charles Harris. He was a healthy he was your starting edge rusher, Jeff. He was a healthy scratch half of the year. Healthy scratch. Not injured. A healthy scratch. That's nuts, dude. So it's Brad, hey, I get it. You're confident with some of these guys. You have the money. You don't have to sign a 2 or 3 year deal. One of these guys are going to be willing to take a 1 year deal on a contender. And if you don't take a swing at it and do it, I don't know what else to say. I don't. Because if you end up, I put it in my tweet, if it ends up happening where you have some sort of issue getting to the quarterback this year, or you have some sort of injury, and you take a step back and in hindsight, you lose a Super Bowl again because you couldn't figure that position out, I'm coming right back to May 8th, 2025. I'm going to say, Brad, you had options.
Well,
there's no excuses.
That's what frustrates me is not that people can't talk about edge, because obviously it's exhausting. I get it. It is. It gets exhausting. But the reality is it's worth a convo. It always is. Yes. And I think that when I see Twitter and Jadeveon Clowney's released and people are like, oh, here we go again, I get about Jadeveon. But when people mention signing an edge, I don't think it's that. It's guys, I mean, let's look at the reality here. It's okay. It's perfectly understandable that most of the Lions fan base isn't comfortable with Davenport going into the season. It's completely understandable. So I don't think it's someone going, oh, here we go again. Talk about another edge. It's well, you have Davenport, and then after that, it's a bunch of tweeners, and then guys that really aren't pass rushers. You have AQM, who's, I think he's a solid role player, but are you comfortable with him as DN2? And then you look at Ahmed, who's, I think, will all agree be very good, but that's not fair to him.
Again, leaning on a 6th-round rookie is tough.
Yeah, to throw him out there and be like, hey, man, we're depending on you. It's you will, I think it will. He'll get that spot at some point, but year one, it's tough, man. Let's bring in Klotz because he's just I can't look at him. He's too ugly. So let's bring him in here.
You watch that tone.
Whoa,
watch that tone.
Can you turn your mic down a little bit?
No, it stays after that intro. It stays this loud. I won't get it. Hold on, Boone. Better now?
Almost blew my eardrums out.
Better now. Watch your tone.
Yeah. I don't know, but say something.
Jadeveon Clowney will not be a Detroit Lion.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, fellas. To put it very simply, okay? If Brad Holmes at the end of last season said, Zadarius Smith, you gave us great production in the time that you were here. We're going to release you and see how free agency plays out. And Zadarius Smith on, Booner, what date did you just say? I can't see the date. May 8th?
May 8th.
Zadarius Smith is not a Detroit Lion. And I feel like over the course of this offseason alone, we've had 2 or 3 conversations that have been like, hey, Zadarius Smith, he's in Detroit. He's with cashed out the Pistons game. He's about to resign. Nope. And if that's the case with Zadarius Smith, shout out to Flannel, there is 0.0 chance that Jadeveon Clowney, who's been a free agent multiple times that Brad has passed on, is going to get brought in over him. So if Zadarius isn't signed in Detroit, I don't expect him, Clowney, or Judon. I don't think I feel like all those guys in the same tier. That's just where I don't expect them to.
By the way, too, and Klotz, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you're saying that they're not good. Those are good players. And the one thing I hate, and I'll say this too, that I hate on Twitter that people are doing, trying to discount Jadeveon Clowney. Like he didn't just play for the Carolina Panthers, one of the worst teams in the NFL, still had 5.5 sacks. And then the year before when he was on an actual contender, a legit contender with a good defense, a good scheme with who else was on that defense getting after the quarterback with them?
With Baltimore or where?
Baltimore when he was there.
Kyle Van Noy,
so like when you put him in a position to be successful, he will produce. Like that's the one thing I hate people on Twitter. And same thing with Matthew Judon. Like maybe you could argue a little bit with Judon because he didn't have the best year, but like they're both in bad spots, and you put them in a good spot, surrounded by great players with a good coach and in a contending team, they're going to produce. So like to me, there's no question that you should add or you would want to add one of those players. Like they're all good enough,
right?
They are, but it's just like I'm with both of you. At the end of the day, it's like Brad would have done it by now. Maybe this is me. I remember in the draft, I don't know if you guys remember this, but after every pick, after we didn't get an edge, we were just like, oh, next pick is the edge. He's doing it the next. And then I got the next one, we didn't get it. And then the next one, we didn't get it. I feel like that was Zadarius, where it's like, he's just pushing it back. Like they're going to figure out something with money and the years. Like he's just trying to work it out. And then I feel like I'm just going to keep my hopes up all the way until August. And then he's going to end up being like a Philadelphia Eagle.
Trade deadline.
Yeah. I'm just going to be like, we're never going to get, but then even the trade deadline, you gave up picks, so many picks in this draft where it's like, how much assets do you have to really work with? So I'll say this, I'll stick on Brad's side with all of this until the season comes around. And if you end up having injuries again, or your one problem on defense is a pass rush again,
well, yeah, you have to.
Then it's, hey, Brad, like you really made this mistake. And this whole not winning a Super Bowl in 2025, that doesn't fall on the coaches, the players. That falls on you because you came up short when it came to building the team.
Hey, you know what's going to happen, fellas? Put on my wizard hat. We're going to talk about Judon. We're going to talk about Zadarius for the next 2 months. And you know who's going to be a Lion? DeMarcus Walker.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't be like, again.
No, that's fine.
Not,
it's a good, but I would rather.
That's how it's going to go.
I would rather have one of those other guys, in my opinion.
Well, absolutely. But Boone, and you'll agree on this. Like
beggars can't be choosers.
Outside of Hutch, Marcus Davenport for a max of probably 8 games, and Hassanin, what other edges do you have? Like as far as can play 3 downs. Like if you have AQM out there on a 2nd and 2, they're running it towards the edge every play. What game was that? So I think it was the Vikings game at first when Hutch first got hurt. I remember like that first drive with the Vikings, that first half, it was just Aaron Jones off the edge, Aaron Jones off the edge, Aaron Jones off the edge, because there was nobody that could set an edge. If you have AQM on the field, every play, they're running the ball that way.
So, yeah, it's going to be that you have, I don't know. I do think the only positive, and outside of Marcus Davenport, obviously Ahmed Hassanin is one, but like Josh Pascal at the end of the day, like you're probably going to start him if Davenport gets hurt. which I don't think he was that bad last year. But if you're comparing Josh Pascal to Zadarius Smith, there is definitely a step up and down.
I'm just saying, bookmark the show. He's going to be a lot.
May 8th, Thursday, 8:15,
DeMarcus
2025.
And he'll be cheap. He's a body. They'll bring him in to compete, and we'll see if he makes the roster. But that's going to be the guy they bring in to compete. That's what
it's
I
just
think.
like the Bruce Irvin and those ones, man.
But real quick, also before we move on, man, don't forget if you're watching, hit the dang like button. Hit the dang like button. Let's do it, please. Hit the like. It pushed the show out in the algorithm, so we'd appreciate it very much, boys. Rookie minicamp. You know what I'm excited for when I hear rookie minicamp? You know what coverage I want to see, because the media does great coverage, but storylines I'm interested to see. Like I hope that pops across my computer. Breaking, or maybe not breaking. Isaac Tesla making insane grabs at practice.
It's gonna happen.
I want to see. I'm
interested in that.
To me, Isaac is the player I'm the most intrigued by. I think I know kind of what I'm getting in a lot of players. He's the hardest one to probably predict, but I want to see across my screen the headline of Isaac Tesla making plays like Doc.
Oh my gosh!
You want to Quintez Cephas moment?
And you click on it. It's like the guy didn't drop a single ball, and it's like he's detailing like went over Terran Arnold and got a good grabbed it off the top shelf. I want that type of coverage.
He said I want a Quintez Cephas moment.
He wants that Quintez. That's Jeff's Quintez Cephas moment.
Oh
that
my gosh.
snag still was great.
Klotz, by the way, I hate to bring this up to you, and we don't like, you know what? We talk, hey, we don't want to bring up bad takes from the past. You know who just got cut from the UFL?
Who?
Your guy, Denzel.
Mims. We've slain that.
Denzel Mims.
I was trying. Hey, I'm trying to sell a 01 Miata to a guy who's trying to shop for a
dude. I just think that was
a wide receiver.
That was one of the funniest moments of you. Just like I remember, like tweeting it out, Denzel. And like you convinced a lot of people that he was going to be legit. And me too, dude. I was tweeting it out. Like when I saw Klotz tell us, and when he texted us, I said, "Yup." This guy's gonna be the guy just got cut from the UFL.
I was like,
he was one of those guys coming out of college that I was like, Denzel Mims, like he lands in the right spot. No, Detroit might be the right spot for him, but it didn't matter.
Anytime I see him now, anytime I see his name pop up, I just think
Hims. Yeah, no, I'm looking for Isaac, man. I'm excited. I hope I get more just kind of clarity on. I hope we get. And I'm not saying if it doesn't happen, it's a red flag or anything. I'm just personally, I would like to see some like pro Isaac propaganda pop across my screen, and then I could be like, this guy's making plays already. Okay, now we kind of see what they saw in him, So
Sneaky
that would be like the big one. I mean, I got some more. I'll let you guys go. Maybe I'll add another one. I got one more I'm excited for. But that would be the biggest one to me, fellas. I'm looking forward to seeing. Hopefully some Isaac Tesla coverage. A lot.
I hope we do get I hope we do get kind of a couple alerts coming through the phone being like Isaac Tesla's having a big camp. Another one that I want to see a big camp. I don't know about you boys. Ahmed Hassanin. I want to see something come across our board, and I want something to come through my desk. And Doc texts us and say, "Hey, Ahmed's having a week. Like he looks.
This guy's
different.
Screaming at Casey Ryan.
Yes, I want a text. I want an article that's just been like, there is no way that this man should have been a 6th-round pick. Like they got an absolute steal. And I don't know. Hey, I know we're not going to get a lot of live action right away. It's only rookie mini camp. I understand that. Anything positive out of camp for Ahmed, I'm going to be absolutely juiced up because again, it's like it goes back to the conversation we had just before this segment, boys. Edge rusher, like maybe if there's any sort of light with that in rookie mini camp and throughout the training camp, that we could kind of take our foot off the gas a little bit on all these other players that were like, hey, Zadarius, and we could go, okay, we can relax a little, boys. But I think, hey, he's going to show up and work. You boys know it. You guys know how it's going to go with him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who else is Boone?
Yeah, I know.
And I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, Isaac Tesla, Ahmed Hassanin. What about Tate Ratledge? What about Miles Frazier, the offensive lineman? Offensive lineman in rookie minicamp? I don't give a damn. Skip. Give me Dan Jackson. I want to see what Dan Jackson, the 7th round pick out of Georgia, can do, fellas, because I don't know if you guys happen to know, there is not a soul behind Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. And if you start seeing Dan Jackson out there making plays early, national championship, boys, he knows what it takes to win. He knows what plays need to be made. Now, he's not going to be Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, won't even be Ife Melifonwu for that matter. But if Brandon Joseph, who is undrafted out of Notre Dame and Northwestern, respectable program in Notre Dame, Northwestern, let's talk about the guy from Georgia, Dan Jackson, laying the wood. Okay, I want to see these undrafted free agents try to make the roster, try to make a roster. And Dan Jackson shut the door on their NFL dreams. That's what I want to see in rookie minicamp. Boys, the hog mollies, that's fun. Very important. Not going to deny the importance there. But what am I excited to see? I want to see what Dan Jackson can do, fellas. Give me Dan Jackson.
Say it one more time, Klotz.
I want to see what Dan Jackson can do, fellas. Give me Dan Jackson.
Danny Jackson. Yeah, I think D-Jack. I think he. Yeah, I mean,
listen. It's same with. He's got to earn a spot. He's a 7th round pick. I get it.
And he knows it.
100%. I get it, but
defense.
I don't want you to listen. I don't listen. And this is where Klotz. I want to teach you something here, real quick. Can we just? No. This is we can get Jeff out of here. We get the chat. Let me shut the chat off. This is me and you, Klotz. When you love a guy, sometimes putting a lot of pressure and expectations on him right away. Denzel Hims, for example, saying he's going to be the GOAT. Hey, let Dan Jackson go out there. Let him be an absolute dog. Let him prove himself. Klotz, don't put him in like starter conversations.
No. Hey, Boom, what did I clearly say?
What you just talked, it felt like you're like, hey, Kirby, watch out. I just don't want you to set these expectations and have to be like, oh man. Realistic expectations, not Klotzy.
SS3, Boom. That's his nickname. Strong safety 3. He's gonna be.
I think he has a chance to get some tick, but
dude, I'm some tick. Dave Phipp ain't letting that man leave the roster. I'll tell you that much. He's a lock on this roster because of special teams. Wait till Kevin Shepard sees what this Georgia Bulldog can do.
I'm pumped up to see Dan Jackson. I'm excited for training camp to see.
And to your point, Booner, being very real here. 7th round pick. But I'm not lying to you boys when I say I am very excited to watch Dan Jackson during camp, because when you just watch him at Georgia, he just fucking hits people. And that's what he has the mindset, the want to be a Detroit Lions safety. Now, does he have the talent? That's what we're gonna see. But I'm betting on him. That's my guy, Dan Jackson.
That's fair. Hey, that's a guy you die on the hill for. I respect it.
You know what I want to read too? I want to read Miles Frazier taking snaps at center. I'd like to see him snapping the ball.
I would like to. Is it just rookies at this camp?
It's supposed to be, but then I'm pretty sure guys like Matthew Betts were at rookie minicamp. So I'm sure there's
Push Mahogany.
No, I doubt he will be.
So.
I'm just interested to see. I would like to see where guys are taking snaps.
It's
does Tate only go right? Right? Is he only a right guard?
No, I don't think so. Try it. At the end of the day, I
guess they will
see
try.
What you got in these guys, see what you got out of a guy. You trade up for him in the 2nd round. See everything you can get out of him.
To be fair, Brad did say when they bring guys in, especially offensive line, Hank always tries them out at every position, including center, tackles, guards, center, left, right, everything. So I'm sure he will get run at all of them. I'm just interested to see which one he. I'm just so stuck on him being our starting right guard going forward. I can't not think it anymore.
What about the 1st round pick, Tyleik? What do we want to see? What do we want to see from Tyleik? I think I think it's an opportunity for him to go out there and at least show his athleticism. I think that's what I want to see on display. See how quick this man gets off the ball. I want to see that big fella move. I just want to see him move. That's what I want to see. Can he play that 3 tech? You put him at nose. I know he could play 3 tech. What does he look like? I know it won't be quite what you're going to see at training camp in terms of the level of talent, but just out there competing. That's really what you're looking for. Is I want to see how he moves. Hopefully people get to see more of him and be like, this guy moves fast for 6'3", 305.
Hopefully we see some videos that come out from social and you're like, oh, this guy's different. I already saw a video of him getting kind of his gear today and he just looks like a dude. Like,
fucking
I don't want to mess with him. Right, like with the Aleem, they were like, "Hey, got that Aleem build and in shape. That Aleem kind of took time to do. He looks like he's like built like Aleem, and he's in good shape. And he just won a national championship. And he's like, I want to be the best defensive tackle in this draft class. Which again, I'm not saying he's going to be, but do you guys want to do the expectations for him?
Yeah, let's
I wanted to start doing this segment, Detroit Lions rookie spotlight, and just do year expectations, not like, hey, he's going to have 10 sacks, but like realistic expectations and like, what are you, the chat, and you guys could throw it in there, Klotz, Jeff, like, what are your guys' legit expectations going into the season for a specific rookie player? And Tyleik was the first one that I wanted to do. I do have a question to follow after you guys give your expectations.
Do you want me to start it off, fellas?
Realistic, Klotzy, realistic.
Right, realistic.
Take it away. It's your guy.
All right. First off, come into camp in shape, meeting weight. I don't know how the hell I just started that sentence, but come into camp.
Bro, what are you trying to say right now?
I'm done. I got to leave it behind. Well, good. Be in NFL shape, because even at Ohio State, he came in at like 360 pounds and was a freshman All-American. But they said, hey, dude, you got to slim that down. So he's been very good at it. They're obviously going to be mixing up the workout routine and diet, but stay in shape. But then when you're there, if you're at rookie minicamp, dude, you're throwing around these Big Ten offensive linemen. You're making them look like children. He better be the talk of rookie minicamp.
Yep.
Like the skill that he has, the power that he possesses, the things that you've seen on tape. I want to see those same thing in rookie minicamp, because he should be someone, in my opinion, expectation-wise, day one, without a question, 0 question marks, you're starting. Tyleik Williams is starting right there next to DJ Reader, because when you start getting into training camp, there's going to be the conversation of Levi O, Mekhi Winga, all the Roy Lopez, like all these guys are going to be flying around, and there's going to be other people having better camp. But to Jeff's point, he is so fucking fast off the ball, fellas. Like watching him at Ohio State, watching him collapse a pocket was just fun to watch. And you didn't care that he wasn't getting to the quarterback, because thank God you have guys like Jack Sawyer and JTT that were. But when you watch him play football, it's just like, dude, he is special. He has a lot of special qualities. He just hasn't been in a situation where he's been around so many good players that make plays where he can just fully put his game together. And I want to start seeing those glimpses. Obviously, you're not going to see it in training camp, what he's going to look like 2-3 years down the road. But when you're going up against guys that Tyleik is clearly better than, dominate him. I want to see him dominate every rep. And I want him to give Levi O, Josh Pascal, all those boys notice that this is probably your last year as a Detroit Lion, because Tyleik is here. You guys are on the road. So I want to see Tyleik just absolutely dominate. There should be no questions asked. The expectation should be for your first-round pick, who you draft in front of Mike Green, Donovan Izaraku, Jahad Campbell, those type of guys, dominate. And he will. He will. I have no doubt about it, guys. And I'm not saying you are. If you have a worry or a concern that Tyleik Williams is going to be a bust or a reach, erase it. And I know that's just easy to say, like, just trust me. Tyleik Williams is such a good football player.
Yeah, I think for me, what I want to see out of Tyleik in year one, what would be like a successful rookie year to me? Number one, you want to see him out there and he looks like he belongs. That's like the big thing. You don't want to see him outmatched or it looks like, well, this guy, you want to see him out there. It's like, oh yeah, this dude's an NFL player, high level NFL player. So you want him to check that box, obviously. But in terms of like, what do I want to see throughout the season? I think early on, there's going to be always woes, right? I know he played at Ohio State, won a national championship. He's played. It's not like the guys you're drafting someone from a smaller school, but he's going to go out there and I think play right away, play a lot, because no Aleem McNeil. And I think with those snaps, he's going to play. He should go out there and, to Klotzy's point, like make an immediate impact. And what I mean by that isn't always the sacks. I think for sacks, I'd probably put it in a ballpark of anywhere from like 4, maybe 3 to 4 sacks his rookie year. I'm not expecting a bunch of sacks. I just don't. But what I am expecting, is domination. And what I mean by that is double teams. Like offensive lines are saying, this dude, we have to figure out how to block. I want to see that on a continuous basis. That's kind of because if you go through the season, you're like, this guy he's getting overwhelmed like consistently. It's just not good. So you want to see him out there. He looks the part. He's drawing double teams. He's creating pressure. And the biggest thing, honestly, is run defense. I want to see that translate.
Yes.
I want to see that run defense day one. I want to see his impact right away because I think the Lions are still going to be an elite run defense, but I want to see Tyleik be a big part of that because of, number one, his athleticism, but his physicality, his IQ, all that stuff kind of put together. So those are a couple of things I'm looking for. And if he could do that, again, I'm not as worried. But you want to see some numbers. You want to see tackle for losses. You want to see a couple sacks. But I think he'll get that. But I want to see all these other things. And if I do, you'll look back and be like, got a pretty good rookie year. You'll be comfortable with that.
I think realistically, and you both had very good points.
Thank you, Booner. I appreciate that.
But you're both wrong. I'm just kidding.
Your expectations.
No, I think expectations for Tyleik this year, and I was thinking about this all day because I genuinely I'm like not in the middle on it, but it's like, hey, he's a 28th overall. He's a first-round draft pick, right? And a defensive tackle on this team, that's a big deal in my opinion. Like you just signed Lee McNeil to a top 5 contract at that position. So you're sitting there going like, all right, Tyleik, what's the impact that he can have? I kind of lean towards more. I know you guys are similar, but I think Klotz is more so on the side of like he can go out there and dominate more than people think right away. I lean towards that a little bit more, boys. Like I do think Tyleik goes in day one. And you probably, and I was actually thinking about this. I don't know if you boys agree or disagree. He had a lot of double teams at Ohio State, correct?
Like, oh my God, ate them all.
A bunch.
Pretty much.
The only thing, it's like if Aleem's on the field and Hutch is on the field, and let's say Marcus Davenport's on the field, he probably isn't going to get those double teams as much. He will, but I think the number one thing for him, and Klotz, I wasn't saying, and we talked about this a couple like when we got drafted him. I wasn't saying he's not a pass rusher. Like my point to all of this with Tyleik, he's a run stopper first. Like that is what he is like elite at. Like he will fill a gap. He will run stop. The only thing in his game that you're like, hey, can this get elite? Is his pass rush, which I think it can get elite, and I think it is there. Like he can get it there, and he's a very good pass rusher. But you saw the double teams he was taking, and he was opening up for guys like JTT and Jack Sawyer. Like he was doing that. I'm interested to see come year one, where if he's not getting doubled, say they double Aleem or they're doubling Hutch, and I think he can do it at a very high level, but winning his one-on-ones versus like a guard, or even like if somehow he's on like a center and he's just one-on-one with the center or one-on-one with the guard in the NFL, like if he's one-on-one, I don't see a world. Like I think like he's not one of those guys where it's like, hey, he's a rookie. Yes. He's played so much football, so much high-level football, and he's so good, and he has the size and athleticism to where I think he wins those one-on-ones. And I'm convinced that he has a very big year. This kind of leads into my question for the people here. We'll get out of the solo cam. But, yeah, my expectations for him, I think he ends up having a big year, and at the end of the season, you're going, all right, we have our starting defensive tackles. Like, Tyleik's going to be a future Pro Bowler. And I'm not saying, like, now, but I think by the end of the year, after his first season, you're like, oh, this is like, do you guys remember when Aleem, we got to see what he was years 1 and 2, but that year 2 and 3, you were like, oh no, this dude's legit. Like Aleem's legit. And if he stays healthy, he's a Pro Bowler. I think Tyleik can be that like year 1. I don't think you have to wait a year or two like you did with Aleem, like to see it fully. I think year 1, Tyleik can step in and he can have that sort of impact. You know, get you 10 plus stuffs, get you 3.5, 4.5 sacks, and he can take on double teams and he can stop the run at a high level. So that's
Booner, real quick before we move on. Like I think because you're spot on, and I think when you're talking about like why, like I am, and you're leaning that way of why he can dominate, because if he's one-on-one with the center or guard, think about being 360 pounds as an 18-year-old man.
Yeah.
And like, think about how naturally strong those dudes have to fucking be. And now he's 24 years old. Like this dude he's so much strong. He looks big, but like when you watch him on the field, he's plays bigger.
This is where I get to a little, and maybe he's not talking about AG Burner, isn't talking about Tyleik, but if he's talking about Tyleik, you just didn't watch the film. Like this right here just screams, you didn't watch the tape, in my opinion. Because if you watch the tape, you're like, he has everything to be like, if he reaches his peak in the NFL and he ends up getting that good, he's a Pro Bowler, right? Like, he's going to have an opportunity to be a Pro Bowler in this league. Like, we talk about Aleem being a Pro Bowler. He can do what Aleem does. And he can do, there's a chance he can do that his rookie year.
Better than Aleem coming out of college, man.
Yeah. So it's like, if you watch the film, you can see like the spurts of like, hey, this kid's legit. Like, there's a reason he was a top 50 prospect and Brad drafted him at 28. And Brad didn't be like, hey, we're going to wait. And there's a reason the Bills wanted him at 30. Like, there's a legit reason behind these things. It's because that guy, he has the talent. He has everything with it. Can I ask you guys this though?
Yep.
You guys ready? This is about Tyleik. How comfortable, and this is for the chat too. I want to read some of the chats off on this one because I'm interested to see what the people think. Say Tyleik is in for Aleem, let's say first 6 weeks, and he ends up being like elite, and you're like, we can't take this kid out. And Aleem comes back. Is DJ Reader just done? Like, I know there's gonna be a rotation, but is it like, are we comfortable just being like, yeah, I know you have a last year, but like we got to move on? Because I feel like that's it's a weird conversation to have because DJ Reader is that good, like he's very good.
Yeah,
but if you have Tyleik playing at an Aleem level, and then you have Aleem coming back off the injury, do you let Aleem kind of slowly come back, or do you just say
yes, and then if Aleem looks back to Aleem like to very like 90%. DJ Reader's the third best. Yeah. Out of
okay. The rotation kind of slims down there, and it's like, who do you want to take off? I'm not taking Tyleik off.
Tyleik at nose and put Aleem at his. He plays 3 tech, and then you let. I don't know
the snap percentage these guys play, but like, I would expect DJ's Reader's snap percentage when we look at those during the season on Monday when we get the post. I would expect that percentage to go from whatever it was 60, 70 that he was playing to like 30. Like a significant drop. But if those guys are as good and ready to go.
The thing is too, though, like, okay, we're talking Aleem is back now. Like, right. I think again, fully expectations, healthy. Like I have it in my notes here. Like, if you're Tyleik Williams, I expect Tyleik Williams to overtake a 33-year-old DJ Reader, who 1 has a large injury history, 2 is pretty much just surely a nose tackle at this point. Like, he got to the quarterback 3 times last year, season high grade. How many times? Like, okay, let's look at who DJ Reader truly is, especially as he's getting older. You want him in there against the run. So if you have Tyleik Williams and Aleem McNeil, who are both 3-down style defensive tackles, Tyleik has to develop a little bit more. But now when you get in the red zone, if you get 4th and 1 at the 45-yard line, hey, DJ Reader, come in real quick for a snap. Fully ready to go against the run, and you can still have it be that NASCAR package where they like to run it. You're going to have DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams, Aleem McNeil, Hutch, Derek Barnes, and that's a very good front 5 to go out there with. And you have another defensive back.
There would be like say everything works out the way, and I do see people in the chat saying Aleem's not going to be fully healthy in 20. There's going to be a point where you would think Aleem becomes healthy, right? Like, I know it's a significant injury,
hopefully, yes.
But there's going to be a point, let's say week 12, where you're like, okay, Aleem's 100% back now, because Dan doesn't play guys unless they're fully good to go. So that's not going to be a question. So he will be back fully healthy at some point. The scenario I'm playing out in my head, and I was just trying to run through it today, was if he's fully healthy and he is back to the Aleem level that you paid that contract for, and Tyleik works out and he ends up being that level, and you're sitting there like, yeah, there's going to be times. I'm not saying DJ Reader loses completely snaps.
No.
But like, I'm with you, Klotz. Like, there are going to be moments, but it's like, that's a tough conversation to have with the vet, to where like as much as we say it, like, DJ Reader was very good last year. Like, I'm not saying that like as an exaggeration. Like, his PFF scores, his run stop grade, like everything was like very good. That was one of the better years he's had, I would say, in his career. And he's that old. So if he's playing like that this year, you just like, you have 3 very good defensive tackles, but then it's like, you can't have them all on the field at the same time every play. You can't.
I mean, what I would tell him is, hey, Philadelphia just did it. Like, they rotated 3 defensive tackles.
Yeah, and like, but like the thing with that though, they really rotated. They had 3, sometimes 3, but like Jalen Carter played. I don't know if you know this. Like, he played like 95% of the snaps. Like, it was insane.
Milton and blank on the name. I literally just who's the other defensive tackle?
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. Yes, it was Milton and Jordan.
But
yeah, Jordan's that DJ Reader.
And actually, guys, boys, if I'm being honest with you, I know we talk about the edge rush all the time. The Eagles they had a good edge rush. It was their interior. Imagine, like they won the Super Bowl, in my opinion, because of Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis. Like those were the guys that like made them. If you have, maybe that was where Brad was like, you guys are all thinking about the edging into the quarter. I'm a step ahead. Give me Tyleik, DJ, and Aleem.
Yeah.
And we will destroy them inside of a defense.
Well, it makes your edges better if you can do that. And they have Jalen Carter, and they have Milton Williams, who played really well. So it helps to have
crack the code. That's why Brad's like, why are you guys thinking about edge? Maybe someone needs to bring up the interior and be like, look what the Eagles just did. Now look what we just did. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I just cracked it.
Yeah, I mean, you might have cracked it. I mean, if they have Jalen Carter absorbing double teams, and Milton Williams, a little bit of Jordan Davis here and there, then I mean, it helps. That's what you kind of expect out of those three: Tyleik, Aleem, and DJ. I just think DJ, man, they don't owe him anything. I mean, he's a free agent after this year.
No.
Why are you trying to play him? And like, I like DJ Reader. I think he's a good player, but when it comes to Aleem being, if he comes back and he's relatively healthy, I know it's going to take some time, but once he's at that point, and I think Tyleik right now, like, he's got to get used to the NFL, but they're both better players than DJ. It's just the reality. You know what I mean?
To be fair though, DJ Reader is like last year he was very good, and he was on a depleted defense. I would say he was
good. I think very good's a little aggressive.
You got to give him very, especially with the defense he was on. None of the linebackers available. His whole defensive line, he's playing with basically like G League guys. Like you have to give him a little, in my opinion. Like if he had a full
defenses in the NFL,
and it was basically just behind him because Aleem's out. So I think you have to give DJ a little. And that's why I think maybe it's not. Hey, who's gonna, get snaps taken away? Maybe it's more so like, hey, look how good this defensive tackle room's about to be. And then you add Levi O as your fourth, and Kyle Peck. Is Kyle Pecco still there?
Roy Lopez.
Roy Lopez.
Well,
I'm thinking of I was gonna say I'm thinking of your guy, Klotz.
Roderick.
Roderick.
I'm not falling for that, bro.
He says Lopez, Levi, Pascal aren't getting pushed simply aside by Tyleik.
No.
Just think of it as a great bullpen. Stop trying to claim the king of the hill.
I'll say it. Tyleik's going to have that spot. Like, there's no question.
Yeah, okay, let's think about this.
I'll say it.
Levi's a fair, because Levi, especially in camp last year, boys, was tearing it up. So, that's why I said, if they throw Levi out there week 1 and he gets the start, but him and Tyleik are playing similar, I'm going to be a little disappointed. But week 2, Tyleik at some point will get that spot.
Yeah, if Tyleik, I will
say
Arnold.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I will say Roy Lopez is 100,000% getting pushed aside for Tyleik. I mean, if he's not better than Roy Lopez, we have a problem. Roy Lopez is a fine player, but he's a depth piece. So
to be honest.
I get you want to pump up Roy Lopez, but let's just be careful here because if he's a similar caliber of player as Tyleik, then we have an issue. So I think that he's obviously better than Roy Lopez. I think Roy Lopez is probably someone you could put in situationally. Maybe if there's injuries, you trust him. But even year 1, I see he's year 1 is what I'm talking. Even year 1, if Roy Lopez is a better player than Tyleik, you got an issue, man. I don't know why anyone would be okay with that.
And I've been a Levi O guy, and I will continue to be a Levi O guy. I think he was good last year. I just think they just got such a bad shake with the injuries that they just had no chance. Those guys, him, Josh, and DJ Reader, and it was just a tough spot to be in. But I think with Levi, it's okay. Let's play your game, a chore. Sorry, let's play your game. Yes, okay. Levi beats him out in camp, right? He gets like Klotz said. You're gonna know whether Levi O starts every game from weeks 1 to 8 until Aleem's back. When you watch the film and when you go look at the stats and you're gonna look at the PFF grades and everything, Tyleik's just gonna outperform Levi. And then whether or not he's starting or not, still getting snaps. Levi's gonna be good. He's gonna be good for you, and he's gonna be a great role player. But Tyleik's just gonna week 1. He's just gonna outperform him. He's just that much better. It is what it is, right?
And to his point, if you're talking about the bullpen then you're right. Like it is
Sure.
it's a very good bullpen, if you want to use that word, of defensive tackles. So I cannot wait to see it.
With Roy too. Roy's going to probably, I don't know how they'll do rotations, but I'm sure Roy, like if DJ Reader the first 8 weeks needs a break with no Liam, like Roy Lopez is going to be the big fellow in the middle, be like, go out there and get to the quarterback or just go create havoc. Go stop the run on first.
The former wrestler.
Yeah.
Do some RKO shit. I can't wait for Roy Lopez. Fired up about it.
If we see him, we should I'll let him do like an RKO on me or something.
So hey, Boone, I heard through the grapevine that you have a
Marvin Gaye.
You have a concern, I was told.
Yeah, I actually do.
Take a sip of water. Oh, a concern of who?
Brad Holmes.
And what is this concern, Boone?
The edge, and it's not signing a new edge.
Oh, here we go.
I had a coming to Jesus moment today. Shout out to Pope today. Pope, Leo, I think the 14th. I could be wrong. Don't know.
He's from Chi-Town, ain't he?
Chicago native. Yeah, Villanova grad. No, shout out. He's the first American ever to be the Pope, which is sick.
Dope.
Let me say this though, and I want the chat guys. I want your genuine reaction. You don't have to say, "Hey, Booner, like you're stupid." I want real, like, "Hey, let's have a conversation about this." What's the one thing that we've talked about with re-signing players, boys? That there are going to be guys left out, correct?
Yes.
What's been one underlying factor with these players? Like we put all these players in the same category, right? They're like these players that are game changers. The Jared Goffs, Brian Branches, Amon-Ra, you know what I mean? Like those types of players. You're like, which ones of those players are you willing to move on from? What has happened over the last 2 years, boys, with those players when contracts are ready to go? What has happened? They get the deal done instantly.
I mean, yeah.
When the time comes,
usually they'll get it done.
100% of the time. 100% of the time. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, Panay last year. As soon as they were like, "Hey, contract, we got to figure out contracts." Guess what happened?
They got them done.
Deals got done.
Yes.
So we see that, right? This year, whose deal was up? Kirby. What did they do? Got it done. It's important. My question is this. And it goes back to the edge position with Brad Holmes. Why hasn't there been an Aiden Hutchinson deal done? Why has that not been prioritized for Aiden Hutchinson to get a deal done? He has taken care of every single player. Boys, seriously, he has taken care of every single player when his time is up and it's ready to go. And I see AG's burners right away says health. That's the only thing I can think of. The one thing Brad Holmes has been very good at, and the one thing I like about his contract negotiations, he's ahead of the game. He gets ahead of it before a lot of the money's due. Outside of quarterback, I would think edge rusher might be the most expensive position, correct, boys?
Maybe
like
tackle,
maybe wide receiver, but like right now it's trending towards edge rusher and wide receiver are the two highest paid non-quarterbacks in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You should get this deal done. And I've said this before, and I'm kind of going to start just planting my flag on it until the deal is done. And I'm going to listen, if anyone has to do it, I'm going to get the deal done. We will get this deal done. You need to get the Aiden Hutchinson deal done like this week or before camp because you can't afford, in my opinion, we're penny pitching, right, boys? Yeah. You're sitting there looking at over the next 2 or 3 years, you're like, hey, we can't afford some of these guys. If you could get Aiden Hutchinson tomorrow at $35 million instead of having to wait till next year. And guess what Aiden Hutchinson after a defensive player of the year season would want to do? He will reset the market, and he will not just reset the edge market. He will be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL if you wait until next year. You won't be, you can pay it. Brian Branch, gone. JMO, gone. Laporta, maybe can still keep him, but you're really sitting there going, we just had to break the market and give Aiden Hutchinson $45 million a year because we didn't want to lock in and get the deal done last year. Right, boys? Like that. I think it's starting to get to a point to where there's a little concern because even if the deal doesn't get done, then you start getting into these conversations like Myles Garrett was with the Browns, Trey Hendrickson right now. I know Hutch isn't going to ask for a trade, but you start getting into those things like those conversations to where it's like Hutch is like, hey, I kind of want a deal. Why isn't this getting done? Or maybe obviously he could be sitting out. But I think at the end of the day, like, you need to make this Aiden Hutchinson contract a priority. And in my opinion, like, you just can't keep going another week without getting a done deal. Like, you have to get this guy extended at the price that the market is this offseason. You can't put it off until the next year. And it worries me. And I'm not going at Brad. This is me saying that Brad's bad. No, I think Brad's going to figure it out. I really hope he does. I just put a question mark because based off of what we know, every single time Brad has had a player at this caliber of a level have a contract that is ready to be extended, and he is ready. You know what I mean? Like, the terms, hey, this is his offseason. They got it done before the NFL draft. Every single one. They have not had a significant player wait. And this one is waiting. And I do not – this is your most important piece, in my opinion, on your defense. This piece is more important than Kirby, more important than anyone else on that defense. This is one that needs to get done, like, now.
So this is where I hear you, and I think you made a lot of valid points on why they should, from the Lions' perspective, they should want to get it done. I just have to think to myself when you say it, I'm like, maybe Hutchinson's camp isn't in a rush to get it done.
That's the only scenario that I came across in my mind. The only scenario.
His stock is at its lowest point right now, just based off the injury. So he thinks, maybe we go out there, we play well. I can command the money I want to command. And I think the other angle to it is, if you're Brad, you still have Aiden's 4th year, and then you have the 5th year option. You know, so I think even Brad, you kind of have another year before you start getting into that like panic mode. You know, I know you want to get it done early. It's smart to get it done early, Boone. Like you're absolutely right. I just don't know if both are in a rush to get it done. I think Kirby, you had to. He has 1 year left. You know, he's about to expire.
So does Hutch, right?
Well, Hutch, yeah, he has his 4th
you can opt
5th year option.
And then
yeah, I guess you opt in, yeah. But this is the year where he's there. Like the JMO one, I understand because he did come out and say, hey, like, we just signed Amon. But, like, to me, Aiden Hutchinson is your Penei Sewell, in my opinion, on offense, and Aiden Hutchinson on defense. That is your
He's the face of the franchise. Like, yes, I would say bigger than Jared Goff.
There is no reason, in my opinion. That's why the only reason I can pull across, Jeff, is what you said. And the only thing today when I'm doing all these notes and thinking about it is that Hutch's camp is like, hey, let's play another year. Go get Defensive Player of the Year and then make them pay you next year. But if I'm Brad, I'm going to do everything in my power to be like, hey, I know next year it's going to be 45. Hey, let's just do 40 now. Like, can we figure something out here? But, like, if I'm Brad, and maybe he already is in the rooms with these guys and the agents, it's just like, hey, you got to find a way to get this deal done.
Because they're talking. I mean, Brad, every time Brad's asked about it, he's like, well, I'm not going to get into contract negotiations. But they're talking.
Yeah.
I just don't know what side is more in a hurry. I bet, you know what I think it is? I think the Lions are definitely more in a hurry. You know, they would love to lock him up.
I don't like to. People who are like, well, he's injured. Let's wait and see what you pay him. He's going to be Aiden Hutchinson after. Like, in today's world, those injuries, like, he's not going to take a step back.
Yeah,
he's going to be Aiden Hutchinson.
This isn't the JMO thing, and I love JMO, but remember we had that discussion and we got into an argument about it. We're not going to disagree about this.
Okay,
I'm cool with getting that bag early.
And I'm not saying Brad's bad too. I just want it. Hey, I want it on record, and it could get done tomorrow. Like, we could talk about this and get done tomorrow. And all I'm saying, I wanted to bring to the boys is like, boys, like, we can't go another week without an Aiden Hutchinson extension. Like, we need to get this thing done.
I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know, Booner, you were speaking for me. Like, to your point, it's going to be a $10 million difference. And I understand it's coming off injury, and people in the chat are telling, and it is the truth. Like, not many players, especially to Hutch's caliber, get huge bags coming off an injury. But if you're Brad Holmes, like, you know what you have in Aiden Hutchinson, try to get that deal done. But Hutch is probably like, I bet Hutch's party is holding out.
He'll probably get that 35-40. I mean, that's what he's going to command. And if you're Hutch, it's like, I get it. You want to wait, go out and ball and get more money, but it's like you get guaranteed money. Like, you get the $35 million, whatever it is, and you're coming off an injury. Like, you got to take that. You never know, man. Take the contract, in my opinion. But all right,
it's a concern. It's the first player that hasn't signed and extended before the draft.
Someone put in there, watch him sign mid-season like Aleem did.
That was the only outlier that I could figure out.
Aleem,
but Aleem wasn't even like a 5th-year option guy. He was playing on the final year. I respect Aleem a lot too, because Aleem didn't sit out in camp. He went into the final year of his contract and was like, I'll just keep playing.
And he got paid.
And he ended up getting hurt after. That injury could have came week 1, and he took that risk, and then that happened. Like, good for him.
Hey, boys, if I were to ask you, when you look at this division, the Lions, the NFC North, if I were to ask you in the chat, who or what is the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions? Again, who or what? Doesn't have to be a specific player, a team. It could be a thing. It can be breathing. It could be a human. Whatever it is. What would be the biggest threat you think going into this year for the Lions to somehow derail them or they don't accomplish their goals because of this blank, whatever that is? What would you go with? By the way, I see injuries, guys. Injuries. Injuries.
Yeah.
You can't say injuries. That's for every team, guys. Every team. Think something outside of injuries, because that could happen to anyone. Something else. It could be anything. What do you think? What would you guys say?
I mean, I'll start it off, and we were kind of talking about it yesterday. I think it has to be, in my opinion, JJ McCarthy. Because if you want to say the Minnesota Vikings, that's fine. But when you look at the Minnesota Vikings for what they are, again, let's backtrack a little bit. Minnesota Vikings are coming off a 14-win season, okay? They lost Sam Darnold, their quarterback, and now they're relying on JJ McCarthy. That's the big question mark. There are no question marks on this roster outside of that. Kevin O'Connell. In year 1, 13 wins. In year 3, 14 wins. He's had 2 13-plus win seasons in the first 3 years. The other one, it was 7 wins because Kirk Cousins blew out his Achilles, and he's got Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs. But let's stick to this year, going into 2025. They added Ryan Kelly, Pro Bowl level offensive lineman. Will Freeze, Pro Bowl level offensive lineman. Javon Hargrave, I wouldn't say Pro Bowl level, but has looked like that before. Very good defensive lineman. Jonathan Allen, very good defensive lineman. Isaiah Rodgers, very underrated corner, and they were able to re-sign Byron Murphy. Donovan Jackson in the draft. Jordan Mason to add to the running back room. And then Rondell Moore. So they've added so much and hardly have lost anything because they've been getting these bargain deals in free agency and kind of building through the draft. And then you look at what they have been offensively, we already know. But defensively, like, people aren't talking about how good this defense was last year, and now we just talked about the defensive line that they just improved. They were 5th in points allowed, or yards allowed, 5th in points per game, 2nd fewest rushing yards allowed in the NFL, and 4th in sacks. And now all of this is set up. That is a elite roster on paper, elite coaches, great coordinators. The only thing holding them back from being another, like, hey, this team is a game behind the Detroit Lions, is JJ McCarthy not succeeding. If JJ McCarthy can go out there and succeed, this team will be right there with the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. I think this team is going to be second in the NFC. Again, I think the Lions will win the NFC North. But I think if you're looking at this division, it's going to be so close. If something happens in the middle of the Lions season, injury, whatever, I don't think it'll be too surprising to see the Minnesota Vikings at the top, in my opinion. Now, the Lions are the better team, not saying that. But this Vikings team is very close behind them. So if J.J. McCarthy balls out this year, is outside the pocket, making great throws to Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, that's going to be a problem because they are good everywhere else.
I'm going to take this off because I want to look at my friend when I say this. Both of my friends. The chat might hate me for this. Lions fans might hate me for this. Oh, I don't want to do it. Biggest threat in the NFC North. I'm not going to go a team.
No. Yeah, biggest threat to the Lions. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I'm not doing a team. I'm not doing a player.
Oh, yeah. It's okay.
There's one thing in this division right now that could be the Detroit Lions. What is it called? For a supervillain or a superhero, their antidote.
Kryptonite.
The kryptonite. Thank you, Klotzy. Goes by the name of Benjamin Johnson. if there is one thing and one concern in this division right now, outside of a team as a whole, that could be the Detroit Lions' kryptonite, it's Benjamin Johnson. I think if you don't say it is, and if a Lions fan says, hey, no, he's going to be a bum. No, you're lying to yourself. You're in denial.
Jeff's glowing.
And you need to go look in the mirror and you need to tell the truth and say, hey, I'm not saying we're scared, but hey, there is concern that a guy that just came from your building that just helped build your team over the last 5 years and helped kind of turn your franchise and organization around was the main piece of your offense that was one of the best in the NFL, had one of the best offenses in NFL history. He is now not only just a different team in the or conference or league. He's about 5 hours away at a division rival, and he knows everything that's going on in your building. And what you just did in your building, he's going to take it to his building, and he's going to do that to his team. And it's not that he doesn't have he has every weapon in the world. They just drafted a weapon. They had Roma Dunze. He has DJ Moore. He just drafted Colston Loveland. They got another wide receiver. They got an offensive line. They added an offensive line. There's a chance they bring Nick Chubb in. They have a quarterback that was a first overall pick. They have everything. And I'm just going to say it. There's very much concern in the NFC North when it comes to Ben Johnson. Now, obviously, the jury is still out on whether he could be a head coach. But if he takes anything away from what the Detroit Lions have done the last 4 or 5 years, and he brings that to Chicago and he does it correctly, and he's actually a great offensive mind as was in Detroit, and it was actually him, the Chicago Bears are going to be very good over the next 5 or 6 years, and he will turn that place around. And there is a lot of concern going into this year because guess who he knows how to stop? Go ahead, say it, boys.
Who?
Jared Goff. Who has he just coached for the last 3 years? Jared Goff. Guess whose weaknesses that he knows? Because, and you could say, well, he doesn't know he knows his weaknesses. There's a reason they sat in a room for 2 months and went over playbooks just so they can use his strengths, because he didn't want to use his weaknesses. But now he knows his weaknesses, and now guess what he can do in the defensive room in Chicago? Bang, 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 bang. Hey, there's Jared Goff's weaknesses. This is what we're going to do against him. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta. You're welcome, defensive coordinator. Here you go, Dennis Allen. You're welcome. Have a field day this Sunday. So if there's a concern, I don't think there's another answer outside of Ben Johnson in the NFC North. I'm sorry.
But I
Ben
love
Johnson, Magic Johnson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Chicago Bears are the Chicago Bears until proven otherwise.
Listen, Jeff, I've learned something over the last 12 months. Sometimes you got to give respect to some people. You got to take a step back and say, all right, tip of the hat, we got to go. I'm sure Dan Campbell will go into those Chicago weeks and be like, all right, boys, we got to lock the F in. Like, here we go. I don't think Dan Campbell's going in there going, Ben Johnson, the Johnson, something Johnson,
Players
Lions
are.
in 5. No,
Players
I don't
are.
think. I know that for a fact they're going in there ready to go.
Johnny Moe will have the boys ready for Ben Johnson.
I'm just saying, it's almost like
Calvin
your teammate
knows too.
has been trying to tell you this for the last 3 months. But
No, I'm with you.
But you made a lot of great points, Boone. Now, it doesn't mean to the chat that the Lions don't know Ben's weaknesses. Obviously, it goes both ways. Okay, and Booner's not saying it only goes one way. It sounds like this guy's just glazing the Bears. He's just sucking the – no, you have to think about it, all right? Everything you said is correct. The Lions know Ben Johnson, too. So there is that. But, again, he's just been in the building. So it's true. I think
both ways.
I love it, Boone. I love it. I can't wait to get to these NFC North rankings. You're gonna.
I'm gonna tell you what. We're probably gonna do it a couple times. Mine will be different from.
You were just pumping up the Vikings.
My NFC North rankings. People need to know this. Over the next 3 months, we're gonna do rankings for NFC North, all the divisions. We will do it multiple times. They will change before August, or by the time we lock it in. Because the final week of August, all of our stuff gets locked in. It is it. Like, that is final say. I will change up a couple things for sure. So they will look different.
You know what the biggest threat to the Lions are?
Here we go.
Is It's the same thing we've seen happen consistently in NFL history. New coordinators. Klotzy, surprised you didn't take this one. This is a layup.
I was thinking more outside the organization for this one, but
no, that's fair. You know what?
Great
I'll make
pick.
the point for you, Klotzy, because you've been the most vocal about it. It's new coordinators. And you bring this up too, Klotz. We talk about it. We agree on it. Not saying it's gonna go bad or go south. I'm not saying that. I'm not here to say that. But what I am saying, if there's something that could derail the Lions, like something that could be a big threat, it's John Morton and Calvin Shepard not turning into the coordinators you think they can be. That's just the reality. It took the Eagles firing their whole staff and then getting, or not the whole staff, but both coordinators and getting new coordinators to win a Super Bowl. So for people to act like this is a crazy thought, you're crazy, because this has happened plenty of times in the NFL where, great coaches leave, they bring in new coaches, doesn't work out, and they have to move on to new coaches for it to eventually get back to where it once was. Just because Dan is an excellent, identifier of coaching or of guys that can coach. He identifies good coaches and he finds them. Guy's going to miss sometimes. It's okay. And this is his first big hire outside of getting Ben originally and Aaron Glenn originally. This is his first after the hire of getting those guys. So it's a big test. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to work out, but what I am saying, the biggest threat to the Lions would be both these coordinators going south. Because, new coordinators that aren't successful, that aren't as, that good of coordinators, that, it just happens. That's what can derail a really good team. That's what can derail a really good team, because you like the human beings. You like John Morton. You like his offensive mind. You got to see him call plays, guys. You got to see him call plays. That's the big. You got to see him on the field looking at the sheet, calling, sending in plays, and we got to see this thing work, because until then, we're all just spitting nonsense, or at least talk that we can't back until we see it. Same with Kelvin. Yeah. And I'm excited about Kelvin the most. But still, even it's his first time being a defensive coordinator. So what's the biggest threat? Loved both of your answers. Maybe Boone's more, because J.J. McCarthy, get out of here with that. But it's the coordinators. It is.
I mean, honestly, I would agree with you, Jeff. I think that's the most important one, because if they don't show up, Ben Johnson, J.J. McCarthy, there's a chance that they'll be not both ahead, but one of those teams, Matt LaFleur, whoever could be.
Yeah.
Aren't that's the NFC North Championship, not the Detroit Lions.
Jeff, you said you want to see him on the field with a play sheet, talking and calling plays out.
Ahead.
Let me give you something here. Let me give you something to work with here. Look at them. Look at those guys. Look how dialed in. Look at that. He's got a pen in hand. He's ready to go, man. Look at that.
Johnny Mo.
He's ready to go, man. They're ready to win. That's a Super Bowl duo right there. That's the creator, and that's going to be the duo, the mind behind the best offense in the NFL this season, right there. Look at this. My man's got a tattoo down here.
He's got some fucking jacked calves, man.
Yeah, look at his compared. Look at him compared to Jared Goff. Jeez, we need to Goff. We need to get some.
Mo's probably got more mobility at his age than Jared Goff. Put him in the pocket.
He ran like a 4.3, 4.4.
He's got the calf tat and everything. Hey, he
lets you know, these calves meant to get tatted on.
He knows ball. I think about it like this too, Jeff. With Johnny Mo, I even add I don't know why I'm trying to blank right now. David Shaw. I look at this offensive staff with multiple guys together. Scotty Montgomery, it's the minds of all of these guys. I feel like they're going to be more so in lockstep than it was just Ben Johnson last year. I guess last year you could say it was Ben and Dan every week. Oh no, what's happening here?
What?
But do you see what I'm saying? I think they brought the right guys in. David Shaw, I think with Johnny Mo is that's going to be lethal on its own. And that's just he's a pass game coordinator. So I'm excited to see it kind of play out. I am with you though. I do think, and when you talk about hey, what are the Lions going to do this season? There's a big asterisk over everything, just because of you're sitting there what's going to happen with these guys
it's
Kelvin and Johnny Mo.
People forget football. There's other sports that are like this. I think football probably the most significant, but coaching matters so much, man.
For sure.
It's not people throw the joke around with the NBA. It's I could coach. They just run up and down and play, But the NFL is very different. A lot of it's schematics, scheme, play design. Like you can if you don't have a good coaching staff, I don't care who you have. I mean, one-on-ones can be won and stuff like that, but quarterbacks, like we've seen quarterbacks with bad coaching staffs fail and then go to other places with great ones and succeed.
I do think there's a little bit of a cushion though. Like Dan has said it all off season, and I think he is correct with it. To where it's like, hey, at the end of the day, it's the players that make this offense and defense. Like, and he has stood on that.
Coach.
It is, but I still think like they have such a good roster, like to where John Morton would have to be significantly worse than Ben Johnson to mess this up. Like it would have to be a night and day difference. Where like, what are they doing? I get that with the Eagles, but I think like they brought in an in-house guy who it was like, hey, he had
the quarterback coach,
but he's had no experience. Where John Morton's been in the league for 20-something years. John Morton helped build this offense with Ben and Dan. Like I think there's a little bit of, and they weren't even. And Jeff, and at the end of the day, and this is where I go back to it. It's like they weren't even that bad. They started 11-1 that year.
But they collapsed.
That's it. But like, I don't see the Lions as not having a good season. I think it's Super Bowl is the question mark with these guys. Like, do they have enough? Are these guys good enough to win a Super Bowl?
Lost in the first game. They lost in a wild card game.
Yeah, I just that's such a one-off. Like that's one example.
It's not a one-off. We've seen
it. That one they lost by 30 on the road in the wild card.
Booner,
that is such a.
Saying, let me just get this. Let me just make sure where you're coming from. Are you saying that bad coordinators, that's a one-off with the Eagles? Or are you saying them getting blown out in the playoff game? Which one are you saying?
Blown out. Like they were an 11-1 football team. Like
I'm talking about coordinators.
Even losing in the first round is a one-off.
I'm talking about coordinators derailing teams. It happens. You know, it happens.
I still think they're like no matter what. Like John Morton, he could be bad. They have the players. They're going to win 10+ games. Like I don't think that's a question. And I think it's because of the players. Yes, that's where I'm pushing back at you. Is yes. Coaches mean a lot, but when you have a roster, like they're still going to be in the playoffs. How does John Morton take them to the Super Bowl to put them over the edge?
But
that's the big one. Yes, that's where I disagree. Like I think coordinators, you can have a great team and still win games, but it's like, can you win it all with a bad coordinator? Probably not.
Yeah, because the playoffs, it's like, dude, it comes down to we talk about all the time. Importance with rosters is head coach, quarterback. And a defense. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking for. And with the quarterback, usually when I say that, it's has a lot to do with coaches that are heavily involved offensively. That's why they're tied. It's like Andy Reid and Mahomes. I think Dan is involved, but really he empowers his coaches. It'll really be John Morton in golf for that offense.
I think Dan will step in a lot if he knows he needs to. I think Dan. I do think that Dan is underestimated a little bit when it comes to that, in my opinion. But that's just semantics.
Yeah, Dan will be. He'll be.
If he notices it going bad,
he'll be.
I will say this: if they're averaging, and okay, actually, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get into this. Never mind. People hate it, or Jeff will hate it. Actually, I'm not doing it.
Now I want to hear it.
Yeah, now you like
you can't do that. You can't.
I generally don't because I shouldn't have even brought it up. I'm not. I was driving home today. I had a thought about John Morton and Ben Johnson, and I'm not.
Don't. Yeah,
I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing them. My thought was, and people, you can go look at the stats and watch the games. Like the first 7-8 games of this last season were offensively not that great. Like they ended up getting better, but there was a moment, Klotz. I think me and you had a conversation. Maybe it was week 3 or 4 where it was what's going on? And Dan had to talk to the media and actually be like, hey, if this is still happening week 7-8, then we can have a conversation. But he was
55 times against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, oh, Ben's not good, but I think there was a moment, I think throughout, if you look at 2 years ago to this last year, I think last year, there were more moments with Ben to where you were you could question a little more. And it's hey, he wasn't that perfect this last year. I don't care how many points they put up. There were still moments, they had a couple games where they put 50+ up that made their points per game really high. But there were games where you were sitting there going what's going on with this offense? An example, the Commanders game, to where it's I was driving today and I'm did those 50-point games and did those trick plays of Jared Goff catching a touchdown pass and the deep balls to J-Mo, did those take away and cover up some of the mistakes and bad moments of Ben Johnson? And I think that it did. I don't think that's wrong. I think there were moments with Ben this last year that 2 years ago, it felt like he was perfect all year through the NFC Championship game, to where last year there were some moments where you would be like, I think Klotz and I would look at each other on the third downs, and we would look at each other when they only have 7 points versus the Texans at one point. And you're going, is this offense ever going to do something? And it was like all year long, it just got covered up a little bit by these 50-point performances and by these amazing drawn up plays here and there. And I'm not saying Ben was not good. He was very good. I'm just saying that there were moments to where even last year to where offensively, yes. And I think it's the same thing when you look at John Morton, where it's like, hey, like John, like you don't need to go out there and do everything Ben was doing. Like if you're just solid, you can do what Ben's doing because you have the personnel that Ben had. Ben just covered up a lot of his mistakes with these 50-point performances and these trick plays. That's just what I was thinking on my drive home today. And I was like, I don't know how to explain it without people being like, you hate Ben Johnson. But it was like, no one really talked about it. Like there were moments in Ben Johnson's year last year where you're like, dude, what are you like, you're not that elite right now.
Let's see. Nick P says, let's see. Ben let arrogance get the best of him. Nick. Like the Commanders game, Commanders' weakness was run defense, and Ben was out there with a passing game plan and didn't adjust.
Yeah, listen. This wasn't I'm not shooting Ben saying he was bad. I know, Jeff, you love him, and you're like, don't ever say anything bad about Ben Johnson. But like, he wasn't that great throughout the whole season. He had a lot of like moments where it just got covered up.
I think my opinion on it is I think we hold him to a high standard, and when things go wrong, it's like you point out blemishes, but people.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think
telling you that's what happened.
I think no one pointed out the blemishes that much besides the Commanders game. Like I think there was a lot more games.
Again, how great of a coordinator he was.
Yes, but if you really look back at it, like the first 3 or 4 games, like this offense was struggling. Like the Bucks game that you lost,
the Rams game in overtime, they needed a go-ahead drive to win. They went all the way down. That's
good. Yes, I'm saying like the next week. What happened the next week? But
not
again,
every game's going to be a.
I agree. No. That's what I'm saying.
40 points.
But Jeff, you're proving my point. Is that Lions fans, when John Morton coming in, they're like, we need him to be Ben Johnson and be perfect every week. It was like, realistically, Ben Johnson was not perfect every week. They had a game where they lost in week 2 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they had 9 or 10, maybe. It might have been like, it was like 8 to 10 red zone appearances, and they went 1 for 8 in the red zone. But like, I think people with John Morton, you included, are like, hey, like, I'm not saying that he has to be perfect, but like, hey, we're going to hold you to this standard. It's like, yeah, okay. But then if you look at Ben last year, like, Ben's offense struggled the first 3 or 4 weeks. He had some games where they had 50-plus points, and it made their average go up a lot, and it was covered up by a lot of these trick plays, a lot of these things. Example, the Texans game, the Commanders game, the Bucks game. There were multiple games where you're sitting there going like, what is Ben Johnson doing right now? And it's like, John Morton doesn't have to be that perfect as Ben Johnson is set out to be. He just needs to be good. He needs to be good. And I think people put Johnny Moe in that category. And it's like, hey, Ben was never perfect 17 games out of the year, as people think he was.
I get your overall point. I think the way you worded it was a little, it sounded like you were taking down Ben to like. That's
why today I didn't want to say it, because I knew people would take it that way.
No, because what you're saying is Ben, he doesn't have to be Ben. He just needs to be solid.
Yes, Ben wasn't as perfect as everyone thinks.
Then you get into that, it's like,
but he wasn't. He had those games
3 times. It boosted the averages.
Those
Johnson,
were getting into Magic Johnson,
Klotz,
Wayne the Rock Johnson.
Klotz, do you see what I'm saying when I say I'm not shooting down Ben? Do you see what I'm saying? Can someone just?
I have.
I see what you're saying. I guess I
have been very consistent on this.
Yeah,
and I do think that Ben Johnson is a little arrogant right now. Okay. And I think he's going into a situation in Chicago where they are also very arrogant. Yet again, this is Chicago's back already before the season started. Okay. Caleb Williams, without a doubt, immensely more talented than Jared Goff. Now you got a year 2 quarterback. Now you got all these young weapons around you, and you got to go win the NFC North. And you got to be able to do that with lesser talent, a worse O-line. So, yeah, Ben Johnson, elite offensive coordinator, but that's the whole reason why it's like, hey, and no pun intended, crunch time, are we going to forget about that second half in San Francisco? Are we going to forget about Washington? We're going to forget.
That's all my point is. People are like, you think
so
you
that's
hate Ben.
why
Thank you, Klotz.
I look, the Bears will be better than the Bears have been, but and I'm not even trying to get in the other argument, but like, there is a reason why, like, there's some people that aren't like Ben Johnson's Kyle Shanahan. Like, there are people why they're like, hey, he's got to still prove a lot because he's been around the Lions for a long time. But as far as like running a ship, I don't think he knows what that truly is. Like, you look at Kyle Shanahan, who's his pops? A Hall of Fame head coach, and Mike Shanahan. So that's where I'm not terrified of Ben Johnson going to Chicago Bears like some other people are. And that's the sole reason of why.
Hey, well, Boone agrees with that. He said the biggest threat is Ben Johnson.
Yeah, no, I think he's a problem. I just say when we were comparing it like the John Morton thing to him, I just think, listen, it's like Ben wasn't perfect last year.
The guy's human.
He wasn't perfect last year. He had moments where you took a step back and went, "Hey, Ben Johnson made mistakes." He had games where he was not good.
Human, like
that. Again, you're taking it personal because you like Ben so much.
No, you can't do that. Just because I disagree, you can't get like, oh, you're just because you're taking it personal. Like, no, it's because what you were saying. I was like, what?
No, because I think it's what we're saying is a fact. Like, he struggled in some games.
Okay. Water's wet. It's like,
but you're saying you disagree, but you don't because it's a fact.
It's like water's fucking wet. Like, it's like,
so you
like
agree then?
Aaron Glad didn't have a good game every game.
Okay,
like,
so you saying water's wet is you agreeing with the point.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so you agree.
Yeah, Ben's not. He's human. Like, he didn't have a great game every single game.
I'm glad we landed on the point that you agree at the end.
Yeah, that's like just the way it came. I was like, what?
I felt like I broke it down pretty well. Klotz understood it right away. 90% of the chat was like, Booner, I understand you. You're right. Like, there was 10% of the people and you who didn't understand it. The only reason there's 10% that don't understand it is because those are the people who love Ben Johnson. That's it.
You
hit a soft spot, Boone.
It's just discrediting.
Exactly. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'll say, well, the people that criticize him, the only reason they do it is because he's on the Bears. Nothing else. It's like, no,
see, no one's saying that. You're making that up because it's a soft spot for you.
The only reason I disagree is because you love Ben Johnson. It disregards everything I say after that because I love Ben Johnson, not because I genuinely.
No, I just think in the way that you're reacting, this is an emotion. This is an emotional reaction.
Okay,
this is like
it really
I can't push back about that. It's like, Klotz, you can't have an opinion about Ohio State because you're an Ohio State fan.
No. If you reacted in a certain way, you would understand. Hey, that's an emotional.
But you're acting like me and Booner were just walking down the hall at school and smack the folders out of your hand.
It's because Booner came out and was like, "Well, the guy didn't have he wasn't perfect." It's like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like,
we got a special guest we got to get to. By the way, can people hit the like too as well? We got 107 people.
All right, let's bring it.
Let's get 100 likes. Let's get 100 likes on the stream. Everyone hit the like, please.
Let's bring in Raj, dude. My IQ is getting lowered by the minute. Let's bring him in. Raj,
you're doing that to yourself.
How are you doing? How you doing, Raj?
I was sitting back here watching this whole thing unfold, and I'm watching the chat here. So Crazy Clown, shout out to him, Dom yourself, a couple of guys who are usually on my podcast commenting on Twitter.
Oh, shout out, dude.
Shout out those guys. Man, I don't, is it really weird for me to say I don't care about football right now, that I'm enjoying the best baseball I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Raj, I mean, the Tigers absolutely beat the piss out of the Rockies today. I mean, can we just start? That is starting to become a normal. I mean, I know I get it's the Rockies, but it's a normal conversation now that the Tigers, they're not a good team, Raj. They're playing like a great team. So I want your thoughts on just kind of how the season's transpired and where they are at right now, because you're starting to see, you know what? I was scrolling on YouTube. I was watching some content and I saw a piece of content from a bigger network nationally. And they were discussing the best team in the conference, Yankees, Tigers, having a debate, an actual debate. Give your thoughts on this whole thing that's been transpiring, Raj.
I think it's a simple thing. Like the Yankees are always going, and I know what you're talking about too. The AL Central is going to get the brunt of the jokes, but the teams are playing really well. But if there's one thing about the Tigers, it's the run differential. That don't lie. And they did not until the 25th or 26th run they scored against the Rockies this week. They did not hit a home run until then. till Colt keeps home run in the 8th inning. They're doing it by solid. I mean, of course they're beating crappy teams. They're supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing by winning those things. But also it's pitching. It's Javi, and the thing about Javi Baez too. I did an article about him changing his swing mechanics. He's actually dragging the bat slower through the zone a little bit, and he's just trying to make contact. He's not trying to hit for the fences, and it makes a big difference. But anybody out there that told you that was going to tell you that they were going to be in center field, he was going to be the Gold Glove center fielder, they're a fucking liar. Okay, because what we're seeing right now with Javi Baez is a guy who's finally healthy. That's the big thing. He's healthy.
Okay,
and to me, ultimately, what the Tigers are able to do really is utilize everybody in their position. You know, you're going to expect some sort of fallout here with Dylan Dingler. I mean, he still has a walk. I don't know. Well, I mean, you know, he did walk, I think, yesterday, but it's just good, solid baseball. Defensively, this team's a lot better on paper than what people gave him credit for, because they talked about Gleyber Torres is going to be a bad defender. He's been pretty good. So there's, to me, this is AJ Hinch is pressing all the buttons. If he doesn't win Manager of the Year, because, you know, of course, Bickerstaff gets
100%.
screwed over, then I give up. But as far as the Yankees go, they're good. I mean, but they don't have the starting pitching the Tigers do.
Raj, this is a very random question, and it's, I'm just interested because I've been thinking about it over the last week. When guys like Parker Meadows and Matt Vierling come back, how do the Tigers work this roster to get guys down? Because it feels like, and maybe I'm off on this, it feels like everyone on the roster currently is playing good and has some sort of impact on this team right now. How do you think, and is there a timeline on some of these guys returning, and how do you think the Tigers maneuver this situation with the way some of these, especially some of these young guys on this team, are playing?
You know, it's the thing is that what I worry about is I don't worry, but necessarily where's Matt Vierling going to fit in this? And he's right now, he had a day off in Toledo. More likely, he might either did he I don't know if he got in the game or not against the Iowa Cubs today. But the thing is that I think what I think is going to happen is either he's going to come up this week. I think he's eligible to come back Saturday, so he will probably end up coming back. You see a guy like Justin Henry Malloy, unfortunately, might go back down because of it. Vierling is a guy who can play third base. He can play center field. He can do that versatility thing like Gentry can. As far as Parker Meadows goes, he started his throwing regimen, but I'm not sure he hasn't started the rehabs assignment as of yet. And so Gibson Long threw for Lakeland tonight. So they have another pitcher ready to go. Outside of Montero, and somebody mentioned in the chat too that it was Randall Small saying that he almost threw a complete game. You know, the last pitcher threw a complete game for the Tigers, Kyler Montero. So it's like it's a wealth of depth, and you know the biggest thing, Booner, is I'm not worried about Vierling will find a role. He'll find a role, no problem whatsoever. Is it can be on the sacrifice of like somebody like Young or Malloy? Sure, but I think that's fine. It's just because he is such a good utility bat and he was starting to hit the ball really well last year. And it's just one of the young guys that's fortunately is going to have to get back down to Toledo.
And Raj, somebody that, I mean, Skubal was a fucking menace on the mound last year, and he continues to be. He still looks like the best pitcher in the MLB, and you've been covering baseball, you know, like the back of your fucking hand. For someone like me, kind of dumb it down and explain what separates Tyleik Skubal from the rest of these other pitchers across the league, and especially this year.
It's sequencing and command. I mean, he can. What's good about him is there was a sequence where he threw 3 straight changeups in the same exact spot. It's like, hey, I dare you to fucking hit it, and they didn't. And he's just that changeup has been such a difference of a pitch. And that's Tigers, the pitching coaches, that's Chris Fetter and the gang looking at him and going, this is what's going to work for you. And he's trusting the process, if you will, Philadelphia 76er style. And that is where I think that makes it, he's so elite with that. And then you throw in the slider and the fastball over 100. You got really 3 good pitches with that. And just, in other words, to dumb it down, he's fucking good. I mean, it's as simple as it's as simple as that. He's just a guy who can he can hit both sides of the plate, and he can hit the left side, the right side, And that's what makes him really good. I mean, the Tigers haven't had a dominant lefty like this ever. And so I think that what really makes him really good is the fact that he's always refining his game, and he's a student of the game too. So it's just a matter of really how the Tigers are going to make sure he stays healthy. And that's why they why start him in Colorado? Wait till to give him the extra rest for him to come up. Randall, yes, Mickey Lilich he was a different era. Mickey Lilich was really good. I mean, he had 372 strikeouts or like something ridiculous like that, or 300 strikeouts in one. I think it was a 72, where he threw a lot. But Skubal, he never won the Cy Young. I mean, he lost to Vida Blue in that Cy Young, but still, he is really. I mean, the competition's a little different. But either way, regardless, he's just damn good.
Hey, Raj, can I get your evaluation on Casey Mize? I mean, this year, I think he's been really good. He's 19th in ERA, but just kind of his comeback, his resurgence, and kind of how important he's been to this just entire bullpen, kind of with having Casey Mize back this year.
I think it's really good. I mean, the fact that he's also, like Dan Dickerson was talking about on the broadcast earlier, but the fact he's going out there and saying he needed to get stronger. I think he gained like 15, 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason. He recognized what he had to do to get better. He's throwing two different types of sliders, and the pitch mix is really good. It's just the commanding and sequencing. I keep saying that, but it's true. Like that split finger before, people could sit on that pitch. But now you have to think about that. You got to think about the fastball. He had 16 swings and misses today, taking advantage of the air in Colorado. It's just really, really effective in terms of just matter of they look clueless out there. And for him to be back, it's showing why the Tigers, that number one pick potential right there. Because I've always believed that even when he was down in the minors, I've heard things that he wasn't healthy. And so I think now that he's finally healthy, he's stronger. I think that makes a big difference. And the fact that he is going out there again, it doesn't matter. He's grinding it out. Even if he has a bad inning, he comes back and just is very effective. And so I think that's a big reason why the Tigers are doing so well right now, because everybody, Jackson Jobe is, we'll talk about Jackson Jobe in a second, but I think that he is a big, for them to get further along the season, to get in first place, to stay in first place. Mize keeps doing what he's doing. I think they'll be fine.
All right, Raj, I have to talk to you about this. There's one player, Spencer Torkelson. Torque after the last couple years, and then I mean, I think he's fifth in the Major League Baseball right now in home runs. Are we really about to see? And I think the biggest question, I don't even think it's just for Torque. I think it's for Baez too, at least for me. Do you really believe that these guys are going to be able to kind of maintain this over the whole season? I know we're a couple months in, or about a month in now, and we're seeing the production out of especially both of them after the last two seasons they've had. Are you confident, Raj, that hey, these guys are going to maybe not at that level, but they're going to be able to give you something for all, 180 plus games, including the playoffs?
I think that's a good question, and that's a fair question, because I also got a question in the chat. Jaden Ham is in Erie right now, and he's off to a rough start, but he's getting better. So we'll definitely we talk about Jaden Ham right now in Erie. After a couple of struggling starts, people catching up to him velocity wise. He just needs to improve his velocity a little bit to get better in Erie, but he's a really good guy who can hit the top of the zone, bottom of the zone. But I think he may have a reliever profile. Jaden Ham is a good pitcher. But asking your question about Torkelson, the thing I think what Tiger fans are, he's going back to that form he was, which is 240, great. 30 home runs. I mean, 240 is not great, but what I mean is 25, 30 home runs, perfect. And that's what the Tigers need. They need a right-handed power bat because they don't have one. This is a lineup loaded with lefties. And I think even, for example, Torque kind of was scuffling a little bit before the last couple of times, or last couple of games, and he had a double today. He's still maintaining hard contact. But what the biggest thing that has been kind of overlooked a little bit is his defense. You guys have seen him in the field. Like, he's just out there especially some of the bad throws. He's been scooping things better a little bit, and I think he can maintain it. And that, I think, is continually a guy who will he'll maintain. Like he'll have some streaks, but I don't think we're going to see him miss center cut fastballs anymore. That, I think, is gone. As far as Baez goes, the fact that he can play third and center field, shortstop, I think shortstop, I still think he could play in a pinch. You have that position versatility. There's no reason to put him in the top of the lineup either. Leave him at the bottom of the lineup. I just think that less pressure for him is fine. And it just gives another guy at the bottom of the order. He's been batting the bottom of the order since last year. And I think now that he has a mindset of where he's going to go, just put the ball in play, dude. He's not worried about hitting home runs. Just put the ball in fucking play, and that's what he's doing. And
Come on,
he's healthy. Guys, Baez is a completely – if you guys look at the swing mechanics, like I said, I did the article on it, completely different guy. And the guy in the chat said about Jaden Ham. Jaden Ham's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a good pitcher. I'm just saying, a little worried about his first couple starts in Erie.
And Raj, you kind of spoke on it earlier. I was going to ask you about it regardless, but no pun intended. Jackson Jobe against the Rockies was getting rocked, okay? He was looking rough. He was struggling. You look on social media right now, he's just getting bombed with hate tweets. Like, what's going on with Jackson Jobe? When you're watching that performance and just kind of his overall season so far, what has your takeaway been?
I think he's leaving lots of stuff over the zone because he's so confident in his stuff, but this is Major League Baseball. This is not AAA. This is not AA. And he's still learning how to pitch. And there's times, too, I've heard stories about him shaking off people, and Dingler's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to shake off a guy like Dylan Dingler, who knows how to call a good game. And I think that it's just for him learning how to pitch right now because of his stuff. His stuff is really good, but the problem is like you're not getting it to get swing and misses, and that's, to me, that's a big problem. And so if you're gonna, I think even like just with the home run he gave up the other night was just a complete bomb, and he kind of smirked a little bit like, surprised he hit it. It's like, well, no shit, dude, of course. And it just has to. Jobe has, I think Rando said it best here. Jobe is young and learning, and this is the big boys. That's the best way I could put it. He's a guy who just needs to continue to refine his game, and I think that's just all there is to it. I think he is a good pitcher. He is a damn good pitcher with damn good stuff, but it's just a youth thing. Like, you're cocky. You're like, hey, look at me. Like, I'm Jackson Jobe, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with being confident. But you got to learn, you got to be humble a little bit. Because same thing with Skubal. Skubal, when he first came up, man, this guy was striking out everybody. But then you realized you had to get another pitch in there. So there's still an adjustment, and I'm not worried about it right now. I think he's going to be fine.
Raj, I'll ask you because we brought this up on, I think it was yesterday's show or the day prior, but they're sixth right now in odds to win the World Series. And I'm not going to ask you that question, but I'll ask you this. What do you think the ceiling for this team is? And just early, it's very early, but what if they continue to play the way they're playing? What's the vibe? You've seen this team grow over the last handful of years. What should be like a fair expectation? What would be a win for you?
Are we talking World Series contenders?
Because we had the cute playoff run last year. It was awesome. But what are we talking now, Raj? What are we talking?
I will say this. I think division title, ALCS, as Ryan just said in there, I think is totally attainable.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The reason why I'm hesitant to say, it's automatically a World Series thing is because the playoffs are a different beast. Like, you look at how when a team wins the division, sometimes they have that week or two off, that lull. Tigers have not experienced that yet. And so, like, there's just I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But I think, is it the World Series out of the possibility? No, it doesn't sound like that at all. It's also really if they can stay healthy. I mean, it's just a matter of staying healthy and also getting some more, making sure those bats they're steady now stay hot and get more contribution that way. And so, Cleveland is doing by smoke. I don't know how the fuck Cleveland's doing what they're doing. I really don't. It's like smoke and mirrors kind of thing. Kansas City worries me a little bit because they have enough pitching to keep up with Detroit. So, you have Bollywood Jr. and then they have Jack. They have their AA infielder. I cannot say his name. Like the kid they drafted out of Florida. That kid's a beast. And that, he scares me a little bit because other than that, Kansas City offense, besides Bobby Witt Jr., not much to it. Bobby Witt Jr. is like an MVP. I mean, this guy is carrying the world on his back, and they're playing better as of late. They consider me. Cleveland, not so much. And if they can get past that and, overcome the Yankees, because I think the Yankees will be a favorite in the AL East, as Crazy Clown just said, let the Tigers cook. But for now, I'm a conservative guy with when it comes to baseball, because there's so many damn variables. And sometimes if you live on Twitter with baseball, holy shit, is it nerve-wracking, because people were like, oh my God, the sky's falling.
That's every fan base.
Every fan base is the same way. I get so annoyed with it sometimes when like people go, look at Cole Keith, he sucks. But, like, guys, it's mid-May. Give it a fucking break. Jeez, oh Pete. Like, I can't say this on my podcast. I'm usually calm and reserved with this shit, but I know out here I can be a little more different. Calm the fuck down. It is 162 games.
Yeah, Caleb. No, I'm just kidding. Love you, Caleb. Yeah, Caleb. He
Caleb.
was. I think he came around on Cole Keith though, but he there was a stretch where he was like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah,
with the Tigers, Caleb's a quick
Caleb's a
trigger
good guy. Caleb's a good guy, but calm down, dude. Calm down. I love you, Caleb. Dude. Calm down.
I tell Caleb all the time, he's a trick. He's a quick trigger guy. If someone's playing bad, he'll this guy's bad, man. It's funny.
He's passionate. He's a passionate.
Instantly.
Raj, you've been doing this a while. You keep the professional, he's all passion. That's what Caleb is.
Yeah,
He's
and I've seen some of his tweets. I'm like,
he's all passion.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I think about my youth. I'm like, was I? No.
That's hilarious. Hey, Raj, I appreciate you, man, as always, joining, brother. You keep crushing. Give Raj a follow at Rajcast Baseball.
Legend.
Stuff, man. Especially the Tigers are a great team. This is the guy you want to follow. Raj, we'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thank you. And again, thanks to the guys in the chat. Again, if Crazy Clown, shout out to you guys all. You guys are good people. And Jeff, I still owe you gear. And I'm looking at it right here.
Vice versa, Raj. We owe you crunch time gear.
I will, I will pimp out, like, this is my softball team. This is cash considerations. I play in Oak Park. I will wear some crunch time gear. Like, let's do it. Let's just get this gear.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
Thanks,
there you
gentlemen.
go, Raj. Talk to you soon, brother. There you go.
Man, I love Raj, man.
Yeah, we got to
The
get him taken care of.
Raj is one of my favorite people in Detroit sports media. Like top three, maybe one.
He's one of the most genuine for sure. Super genuine guy. He's awesome. Hey, I didn't get to ask you guys this because we went to Raj. We got into a little argument about the NFC North. But can we go back to the threat thing first? Just a couple of minutes before you get to mailbag. Can we?
Very good combo.
We only did NFC North. Can we do NFC biggest threat?
I wrote down mine. I'll let you guys go first.
Let's do bigger than NFC North. NFC biggest threat.
Well, okay. Let's just let Klotz go because we already know his. Go ahead, Klotz. Just say it. I'm not arguing this all. I'm gonna be honest.
Klotz.
I'm not doing this all off season. I'll let you have your take.
I'm going.
Hey, Klotz, before you go, I got my haircut today. I was talking to Spence, and I told Spence what you said. Spence, he looked up like this and went, "Tell Klotz, I don't hate that take."
And let's think about it, boys. because everybody right now.
Can't do this all off season. I can't do this.
Hey, Boone, we had our blows yesterday. Okay, we have learned to agree to disagree. Okay, this is why though. Okay. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, what are the odds that they will be able to replicate another Super Bowl? And I know that it's a lot more than that, but I would say back-to-back Super Bowl champions is hard to do. And getting back to that Super Bowl, just in general, hard to do. So I'm going with, okay, this is a loaded NFC conference. Give me the team with the best head coach and quarterback combo with Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, best receiver duo in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, top 10 to 15 offensive line, great running back, and they had the youngest defense in the NFL last year, which is going to get a whole lot better. So the Rams, in my opinion, guys, again, it's very close. I think when you look at the Eagles should be number one right now if you're giving them the Super Bowl consideration. But if you're asking me which team right now heading into the NFL is the most primed to make a run, it's the Rams. They have been rebuilt, and we just haven't noticed. We haven't noticed whatsoever. They went years without first-round picks, and now these first-round picks are coming, and they're hitting, and they're turning into great players. You're talking about Jared Verse year 2, Cam Kitchens year 2. We know what this defense is. As long as Matthew stays healthy, they're the number one threat to the Detroit Lions, to the NFC in general. I think most likely That will be the NFC Championship when the season's all said and done.
Lions, Rams.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles are going to be in the Commanders. We got to see, but I think if you look at the Eagles, Lions, Rams, Commanders, those are clearly the top 4 teams, and I don't think they're all separated from each other by that much when you talk about season-long Super Bowl odds.
I can't. You've explained yourself already.
There we go.
I don't want to hear it again. Go ahead, Jeff. I mean, I have my. There's an echo. Someone's echoing. I don't know who it is.
I think you're just shook, Boone.
Yeah,
no,
I don't hear an echo.
There's
You're
an
now
echo.
the best head coach quarterback combo in this NFC conference.
I hear an echo. Now the echo's gone.
Yeah, I think I don't hear it. Did you hear echo, Lucas?
No, then that means you're the one that has the echo going. It's you then.
What?
If you can't hear the echo, that means the echo's coming from you.
Boone, I think you in chat, or us in chat included, don't hear an echo. I think
there's no echo anymore, but there was an echo.
Okay, Boone, whatever you want to believe. All right.
Boone, who's your threat? Who's
Go
your
ahead.
threat?
I gotta pull my thing out.
This guy. I mean, go ahead, Boone.
My threat. It's the tush push. It's Jalen Carter.
I like the creativity here, Boone. I like this.
I went 2. It's Jalen Carter and the tush push. That's the threat.
Wait, Jalen Hurts? You mean Jalen Hurts?
No, Jalen Carter. It's both sides. It's the trenches with the Eagles.
So the Eagle. It's like the
It's
Eagle.
it's the trenches with the Eagles. I get what Klotz is saying. It's hard to replicate it.
Replicate.
That really,
yeah,
it's a tough one, man. It's a tongue twister if I've ever had one. That's it to me. I get it. It's tough to do that, but the Chiefs have done it continuously. The Eagles have been to the Super Bowl multiple times the last few years. So I don't think they can't do it again. If you look at the teams who have done it consistently, it's the Eagles, 49ers, and Chiefs. Those are the teams that have consistently been in the Super Bowl over the last 5 years, right? In both divisions. So for me, it's just like, I think, especially after the Eagles, they've been in it twice in the last 3 or 4 years. They're the team in the NFC right now to beat at the end of the day. Like, they won the Super Bowl. They didn't just win the Super Bowl. They were in a Super Bowl a few years ago as well. So I just think, like, you're sitting there, you saw what they did. You saw what Jalen Carter did defensively in that defensive line. And you saw that tush push can't be stopped. And that offense cannot be stopped right now. And I think the biggest threat, like, you have to beat the Eagles, in my opinion. It reminds me of a little something in the NBA that's going on right now. I don't know if you guys remember or kind of have the same thought process. But the New York Knicks, like, what did they do? Like, they lost to the Celtics, and then what do? They go and build their team exactly how they needed to beat the Celtics, right? Like, there's a lot of Pistons fans right now who are mad, being like, look at us, look what we would have been doing to the Celtics. Like, no, the Pistons would have lost to the Celtics. The Knicks literally built their team to beat the Boston Celtics. That's exactly what they did. And I think this Lions team, like, I get it, the Rams are a problem, and I'm with you, Klotz. Like, I'm not going to all offseason be like, they're not going to be – no, they're going to be good. They're a top 3 team in this conference. But I think with the Lions, it's like you have to build a team to beat the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl. Like, that's the team you have to get through. Okay. And I think they did it with Tyleik and DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil, to where it's like, hey, we're going to stop you running. We're going to stop Saquon, and we're going to stop the tush push. And then offensively, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, D-Mont, and we went and got 2 guards so we can block up front, right? Like, they made moves in the trenches this year to kind of coincide with the Eagles have as well. And I don't think they obviously looked at the Eagles specifically and said, hey, we're going to build our team just to beat that. I don't think they did that, but I think they knew, hey, this is what we need to do to win a Super Bowl. We just got the golden ticket and saw what the Eagles did. Let's kind of do the same thing. So I think that's what they did. And I think it's like something like what the Knicks are doing with the Celtics right now. Like, they know, like, hey, we need defenders. We need guys who can shoot. We need some stretch 4s, stretch 5s. Like, and they did that. And they're, you know what I mean? So that's where I think the biggest threat comes from.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was going to say. The Eagles. I think the Eagles, man, where I have them, I mean, we'll come out with their NFC ranking like we do every year, and division winners and playoff and all that stuff. But to me, it's the Eagles and Lions at the top, and then I'd put the Rams and Commanders after them. The only team that you're looking at to me is the Eagles, man. I mean, you nailed it with the trenches point, Boone. I mean, they have the best offensive line. They have one of the best defensive lines, at least interior, definitely. And they're just kind of stacked everywhere. I mean, the Lions, I'm not saying the Lions are inferior by a landslide. I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm saying is that's a team that matches up pretty well with the Lions. They want to be physical, and they have guys near the line of scrimmage that are very, very good players. So if you're going to bring up if you're going to bring up a team that's probably the biggest threat, to me, it would be the Eagles. I got to see Jay Daniels do it again. I agree with Commanders are that team, and then I got to see the Rams out there with Matthew at 36 years old. I got to see it play out.
Did you guys see the clip that the Rams put out today? By the way,
what'd they put out?
Sean McVay, like, he was pretty much saying, like, every week we're gonna learn something from Davante Adams tape, and he's playing the tape. And Matthew Stafford, I think, just realizes that he's getting his second best wide receiver since Kelvin Johnson. Like, I'm telling you, boys, like Stafford and Davante Adams, and Stafford and Puka as well. Those boys are going to be issues.
Okay, well, you can bring up the aura and all that.
Do you think Davante's still in his prime, Jeff? Or Klotz? Sorry.
No, definitely not in his prime. But
Case
I think
closed. You had to think about it.
Oh, that's so.
He's good, but he's not like you're like second best ever.
No, but hold on. Let's look at OBJ in New York. Goes to Cleveland. He's not the same. He was a beast on the Rams.
He was good, but like you're saying, he's the second best that he's ever had. You forgot Cooper Kupp had one of the best wide receiver seasons of all time. And you're saying today's
he got hurt.
But I'm saying you're saying the second best receiver he's ever had. You're telling me Davante Adams you're telling me Davante Adams in 2025 is better than Cooper Kupp a couple years ago? No.
He's getting the player he's getting
he's taking a step back for sure.
He's not Aaron Rodgers getting 20 touchdowns, but Davante Adams still had a great stat. He was leading the league in touchdowns 2 years ago, and he's gonna have
that's fine. But like guys,
he's
not the Davante of old though. That's my point.
Dude,
like
he's still
that
elite.
comment
he's
you
still
make.
A fringe.
That's good, but you're
receiver.
saying it's the second best he's ever had. That's just
Davante is. Like you're talking about career wise, he is.
No, we're not talking career. We're talking about who he's playing with today. We're talking about who's playing with the 20.
When I make that comment, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. By the way, Good Morning Football. Did you guys see they did top 5 wide receiver duos today?
I did not.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. They put a picture out of it. Klotz is going to hate this.
Oh, if they're not on there, then that's Schrager left, and it shows. That's why he got out of there.
Klotz is going to hate this. I'll show. There's 4 of them. I'll show you all 4 of them. It kind of looks similar to mine, a lot of them do.
Let me see this.
That's insane.
Eagles.
Insane.
Eagles, Detroit, Vikings, Miami, Bengals. Bengals is 1, Miami 2, Vikings 3, Detroit 4, Eagles 5. No Rams. Cincy 1, Minnesota 2, Philly 3, Detroit 4, Tampa 5. No Rams. Eagles 1, Lions 2, Rams 3, Cincy 4, Bucks 5. No Vikings on here. I think that's Brandon Graham. I think.
Yeah,
Brandon Graham. Come on, man.
Philly 1, Detroit 2, Minnesota, Rams 4, Cincy 5.
I mean, if you have Cincy anywhere other than 1 or 2, you don't know ball. You don't.
Literally.
There's a lot of Detroit on there.
That's fine. All I know is Puka Nacua is a monster. Davante Adams is a monster.
I just think maybe, and I think Davante will be good. I just think maybe like 2025 Davante might be a little different than 2023, 2022, 2021 Davante. And I don't think that's that fair to say. Like I don't think that's that.
He's going to have over 1,000 yards and damn near 10, 12 touchdowns. That's not far off.
I mean, he basically had that last year, Boone. I mean,
because Davante Adams is a player who, like, with age,
Boone, I know you're battling.
He's going to be slower.
I know you're battling over there.
I just want to. This is one of those moments. All right, let's just do this. Let's just wait and see. Now, this is one of those arguments where it's like, I just want to wait and see. I just want to wait and see.
I got to think. We got to think.
We got some mailbags though. By the way,
let's put a bet on this.
Yeah,
I don't want to. No, I'm out on this bet. No, you can bet with yourself. We got a lot of mailbags. So,
well, we have super chats. I want to get to Randall.
I am super chats.
Appreciate the $10. He says, Boone, when's the last time an injured player?
I already answered. Dak.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there's probably 100 more. If I went and did research, guys get paid all the time when they get injured. Especially
MP, appreciate the $2. Says Caleb Williams being who people think he is. I don't know what that means.
That must have been a combo we were having earlier. We got to be better with bringing super chats up in the moment I forget him.
But I don't
I'll
even.
try
I'm
to
trying.
help.
But even in the convo, like I don't think we even brought up Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams being who people think he is. Oh, the biggest threat.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's true. All right. Malik says mailbag. Let's say that John Morton fails as the OC. Who would you replace him with? An in-house fellow like David Shaw or an outside fellow like Shane Steichen that could get fired if all goes wrong? You bring in a proven
If
guy.
you can bring in Shane Steichen, you bring in Shane
You
Steichen.
bring in a
immediately,
proven
but
guy.
I love David Shaw.
It
It'd be like
depends
Kellen
who's
Moore.
available. Yeah, it depends who's available, right? Like you have
It'd
to
be-
see who's available.
It'd be like Kellen Moore from the Eagles. Like they brought in a proven dude. Bring in a proven guy.
If he gets fired mid-season, I would say Dan Campbell just take over, and then next year we could figure it out.
Randall Small says mailbag Pickens trade was odd. Do you think there could be more trades happen before the season?
Can I predict a trade, boys?
Yeah, go ahead.
I literally was thinking this. Alvin Kamara will be traded to the Denver Broncos at some point during this season. He will be.
All
right, there we go, Klotzy. Mark it down.
I like that, Klotz. I like
Rookie
that.
quarterback. RJ Harvey's a fucking Mark Ingram 2.0. They didn't get another receiving threat. What's he going to do for the Saints long term? Give Sean Payton his old weapon back.
Yeah, I like that actually. Let's see here. Terrell from FL says mailbag. Why are there Bears fans in the chat giving us irrelevant history lessons when they are a poverty franchise?
Bears have been bad for so long. They haven't won since
but we can't say that. We're the Lions, man. I mean, like I get it. We got to have some perspective, guys. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
We can't start calling other franchises poverty. You know,
but there is a world where eventually it's like with the Cowboys. It's like eventually you can't live in the 80s and 90s anymore. Like you can't.
No,
like,
I get it. If you're
you
pumping your chest, 100%. But like to say like, oh,
it
poverty or
it does take
poverty.
a poverty franchise to know what a poverty franchise is.
Yeah, okay,
the
that's
Lions,
fair.
As a Lions fan, we know what a poverty franchise looks like. And when there's an American being inducted as the Pope before you have a quarterback that throws for 4,000 yards in your franchise's history, that has franchise or poverty franchise all over it. Jay Cutler.
Embarrassing. When was the last time? I don't even remember the last time the Bears. I don't know. They were in the AFC or the NFC Championship game. What year was that? But before that,
06, I want to believe.
Yeah, and I think that was
the Super Bowl in 06. They had a couple little runs with Brandon Marshall, Jay Cutler, Brian Urlacher.
Outside of that,
Nagy got Trubisky to the playoffs, lost on the double doink, and somehow got canned.
That is crazy that Matt Nagy got fired.
Brian says mailbag, both healthy. Who starts? Davenport or Zadarius on 1st and 10 on a rundown? I'll give you it. So who starts? It's going to be Davenport, and then he's going to get hurt on that play, and then Zadarius is going to come in after that.
There we go. That's fair.
Is that
I mean, I'm putting Zadarius on the field, but all power
I'm
to you.
kidding.
I was going to say, I was like, no.
Davenport will go in.
I would love to see though how they do that if they do bring Zadarius
and then he'll get hurt on a play, and then Zadarius.
I'd be so interested to see how that works out if that happens.
Yeah, that's
send him to the Wolves. He'd be like the guy that, like, if there's a minefield, you send Davenport out to go check it out, see what's going on.
Trey says, I check in with you guys every now and then here in Central Florida. I always know where I can get my fresh Lions fix. Keep up the good work, guys. Trey, appreciate it,
Trey.
Down
Legend.
in Florida, man, enjoying that weather. Appreciate you, Trey. We do. Thank you, man, for tuning in. Quality says, Milbag, Jadeveon, or Zadarius? Well, you know that answer, Quality. Yeah. Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius,
yeah. That would be the answer there. There was another question I thought was pretty interesting. AG's burner. Tyler. Tyler. He says, what do you guys see Tanner Train implementing in New York for AG's offense? I'll tell you this with Tanner, he's probably a wild card because I don't know, honestly, because he's going to take a lot from Ben, but he has a completely different quarterback than they had in Detroit.
I'm interested. Actually, I was thinking about that the other day, the Jets offense with Tanner, because I saw them on the field with AG working with Justin Fields.
It's going to be some RPO.
Right away, I was just thinking, I was like, Tanner's going to have to is the OC with Justin Fields.
The Jets, I think the Jets, especially drafting Membu, they'll lead the league in rushing, or at least be top 3.
By the way, AG's burner is Tyler Chauvet or Chauvet. Jeff?
Yes.
No, now it understands. He doesn't watch film. Thank you, Tyler. Shout out Tyler, though. I didn't know that was
Shout out to him.
But either way, Tyler doesn't watch film.
Shiftcott says, Mailbag, you fellas doing a schedule release predictions next week? Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Why not? We'll do it. Schedule comes out. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
I wonder if we're going to get like a graphic and we could predict it. I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Let's do something like that for sure. But we'll be back. Hey, by the way, reminder, tomorrow, Doc's joining. So tomorrow, Doc will be here.
Gentry will be on for me. So it'll be you two and Gentry, and then the Doc will be on.
It'll be a good show, man. Tune in tomorrow.
I'll give a call in.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Give a call in, man. Appreciate you all. Continue the support, man. Get your merchandise, officialcdsports.com. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 10 p.m. But until then, we will catch you all.
Love you guys. Bye. See you guys Monday.